Said jump up into my mouth.
I don't know his name. 56k souls, but I'll get them back. No worries, no worries. Let's eat Priscilla. Eat into the kitty can. And I'm closing the thing, so I'll turn off that Priscilla says. Just so people don't accidentally waste points. Nya Ichi Ni-san. Oh, wait, what is that? Nya Ichi Ni-san. Nya Arigato? That song? Nya Ichi Ni-san. Nya Arigato. Are you talking about that song?
The actions you've chosen to take, they can bring nothing but further disaster to this land. I cannot allow that mistake to repeat itself a second time. Stand by their side and attend to them. That is enough. It is the duty with which we have all been entrusted. If you lose your way,
Oh my god, he's dancing.
Morning. You try to say it's a good morning, there's the goddamn door.
Okay.
Touch or die.
The tree stirs beneath the soil.
Watch the shit, okay. No! I almost made it!
You think I haven't fucking taken off thermal paste off a fucking CPU before? Come on, bro. Great, it's a child lock. I don't know how to fuck with child locks. Oh. Like that? Okay. I know how to do it.
Oh my god! Oh my fucking god! Just don't.
God, he loves to piss.
He is just such a piss baby boy.
What a piss master.
What a PP piss baby boy.
What a piss man. Am I right? Am I right or am I right?
Like a good piss.
Alright. I'm back. Hi. What's up? Hi. You guys good? You guys good?
Somebody please clip that, holy fuck!
What? What did I do?
Somebody please clip that!
What did I do?
Mr. Terry, what are you doing?
Kill!
Mr. Terry?
President of the United States! Enough was enough! And I say Ladies and gentlemen, Garfield and friends.
We're ready to party. We're ready. I hope you bring lots of spaghetti. I'm scared. Come on in, come to the place where fun never ends. Come on in, it's time to party with Garfield and friends. Dancing, fiesta, romancing, siesta, samba, la bamba. Ay caramba, disguises, surprises, and pies of all sizes. Come on in, come to the place where fun never ends. Come on in, it's time to party with Garfield and friends. Come on in, it's time to party with Garfield and friends. Garfield and friends.
And pay attention. There'll be a test at the end.
Oh man, guys. It's looking like it's gonna be another one of those nights. Another one of those nights where I'm zonked the hell out before I even get to say my first sentence on stream, which is what I'm currently uttering right now. Oh man, this week has fucking racked me. It feels like I've not had a moment to myself outside of these streams. But is it really having a moment to yourself stream? Is it really having a moment to yourself chat when you have to perform for hours and talk to yourself? Because you can't have the dead air going on?
Marks!
Try out Marks. As I was saying, is it really dead air when you have to force yourself to talk, to drown out the dead air that would otherwise have been there if you were just playing by yourself for the moment, living in the world of reality, playing games like normal people, not forcing yourself to talk for the purposes of entertaining other people online? That's how I feel right now, kinda. It's a hyperbolic interpretation of what I actually feel like right now. I'm just kind of tired. But hello everybody. Hello, welcome. How do you doing, hullabaloo? And all that good stuff too. It's another around midnight-ish, unwind style Kirby Air Rider stream. I'm gonna try to work on. I'm gonna get the daily out the way, and then I think I'm gonna mostly focus on Air Ride and Top Ride Chivo list hunting today, or a checklist as it's officially called. I just call it Chivo hunting because most of you aren't tendies and you don't know what the checklist is referring to when I refer to it. But when I say Chivo hunting, then you know what I'm talking about. But big ups, welcome in. I hope this Tuesday evening is finding you about as well as it has found me. For some of you, it's already Wednesday. For me, there's still 10 minutes in Tuesday. So, look, you can't say I didn't boot up on Tuesday night. I'm here right now, and my time zone is the only one that matters. But big ups, everybody. I unlocked Marks yesterday. I unlocked Duar, DDD. I just gotta unlock Gooey and DeRoach now. And I think I will have had everyone unlocked. I feel like that's everyone I'm missing. I'm not missing anybody else, I don't think. Unless there's like one character I'm just forgetting off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it's just DeRoach and Gooey left. I know I got all the machines. At least I feel like I do. There's only 22 of them, not counting the legendaries, right? But yeah, we're gonna focus on the Air Ride and Top Ride checklists today. Just want to get a feel for how Marks plays. I like him so far. Now remember, Marks is OP. He's like, in Kirby lore, he's just a little funny clown guy, but he's also very dangerous, very tricky. He's a cheeky little cheat. He reminds me of Fawful from Mario. Fawful from Mario and Luigi? Except, you know, Marks doesn't make meme joke references every 2 seconds. Hey GBM, aren't you supposed to be live right now? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. I will welcome everyone in a moment. But yes, hello. I hope everyone's having a lovely evening. Oh wait, what do we got? Troop form marks slow your rivals by wrapping them in thorns and blocking their view? Wow, it's like if Blooper actually, you know, did anything in Mario Kart. Oh, well if I had hit somebody there, I would have covered them in thorns and then obscured their vision? Maybe? But then, like, that would be like a physical contact Blooper. Like if Blooper from Mario Kart actually slowed down the player. Instead, Blooper just obscures the vision, but doesn't really do anything to impede the player's movement. Unless the player is just so bad at Mario Kart that they hadn't recognized the tracks up to that point. Oh, I wanted to boost off Brick. This segment right here reminds me of the final level of Sonic CD, Metallic Madness, where you're forced to go into that little shrink portion, the shrink portion of the level, where Sonic is forcibly downsized. And then they brought that back for like Sonic Mania. And every playable character in Sonic Mania got their own tiny sprite. When I say tiny sprite, it sounds like I'm talking about like they got a tiny can of Sprite. Hey, thanks for being a Sonic character. Here's a tiny little can of Sprite for your compensation for having to be associated with the franchise. Alright, so I do like how Mark's handles. He seems like he pairs well with the old wheelie scooter here, but I'm gonna have to try him with different machines. But big ups to the dinguses, the ding-dongs, the dingers, the dongers, the swollen double underscore ones, the ding-dongs, and expanded style individuals and persons existing here in the now. Of course, as well, bigger big ups to the dinguses, the ding-dongs, the dingers, the dongers, the ding-dongs, the swollen double underscore ones, and expanded style individuals and peoples who may or may not be surely existing here in the immediate and far-flung future. We are, of course, talking about Golem. We're talking about Makoto underscore Sim. We're talking about Juzzy51, the first person here. Whoa, buddy. We're talking about Blue William. We're talking about EddieB43. We're talking about Zarp Hatchy. We're talking about Tronic Speed with their 35 stream streak. We're talking about D Scythe, who is talking about Phil's viewership and income already slipping Long Live the King. I like that if that's true, I like that he already got ahead of himself, like, because he got rid of the goals and then said, oh, well, if I do this and then the income starts slipping, you guys won't let me bring the goals back. You're going to tell me that I can't do that because I got rid of the goals. So it didn't even last a day? You're huffing a bit too much hopium there. You got to give it a few more days. Top right is my least favorite game mode easily. Don't worry, you're not alone there. It's Tuesday here, you're still safe. Thing is, I passed out, sorry, it scrolled off. Thing is, I passed out last night to be super hard mode. Yes, I did. I pushed, and I did beat super hard mode. I think if I show road trip here, it'll show it. Oh, yeah, look at the bottom. It shows icons for the amount of characters that I beat it with. We got Lolo and Lala for the base difficulty. The base level difficulty, hard mode, and then you have Rick for super hard. So yes, I did complete it, and then if I go to memories here, you'll see the final 4 New Game Plus exclusive cutscenes. New Game Plus does change how the game ends, so massive spoiler alert. And for completing Road Trip, I unlocked something that I had already spoiled myself on by playing online with other people. And I also unlocked something else too. Not just Marks. I unlocked Marks by getting the Chivo for him. Yeah, so I got Marks by doing the Chivos and Noor DDD. I unlocked Noor DDD, yes, by doing the New Game Plus and finishing it. We have acquired Noor DDD. Zora's granted wish finally set free, a lone warrior focused on a lonely mission. And I bought the bull tank, so I feel like I should have all the machines now. Because there's 22 to collect, and I got 22 here. Not counting the legendaries, I've only assembled Dragoon, right? Was it Dragoon or Hydra? I assembled one of the legendary machines, but I've not assembled all 3. The third one, of course, was the other revelation with Road Trip. There is a third legendary machine, and that's what online had spoiled me about. It's gonna be over here. Yeah, so I had played online, and I saw this dude before I finished New Game Plus. But there's a new legendary machine, and I acquired him by beating New Game Plus. I still have to do the New Game Plus shit. I might log on for that. Oh yeah, you should. My problem is, and I did the little mini review at the end of the last stream where I was like, I like the mode. I do think Road Trip is a good mode. It's like it feels like a fully fleshed out version of what Smash Bros. 3DS Classic mode should have been. I like the roguelite elements, and my really only real critique is that it's a bit too long for what they want you to for what they want you to get out of it. If that makes sense, like a full playthrough is 2 hours. My New Game Plus run was, I believe, 3 hours.
Road trip.
And that's with like 80 game overs, according to my stats. Okay, 6 hours. So I know for a fact I was at 2 hours and some change after regular hard mode. So let's be fair and say 3 hours and some change for super hard mode, accounting for 80 game overs. So yeah, they do want you to replay this multiple times with the different characters. Because think Smash Brothers. You play classic mode with all the characters, right? And that's like, what, 10 to 20 minutes per character? I don't fucking know. It's certainly not 2 hours. This is the same idea with roguelite elements tossed in there. You have less characters to work with than Smash Bros. Smash Brothers, you're kissing almost like, what, 100 characters to play as, including DLC? Here you got maybe 20-something, so you would think you don't have to put as much time in, but the mode itself is so much longer than one run of Classic Mode in Smash. Somehow Smash Classic Mode ends up having more replayability, even though they probably want you to be replaying this mode more than Classic Mode, if that makes sense, just because of how you acquire all the machines as you go, and you build up your machine from nothing by setting up. I feel like it's too long for what they want you to get out of it. I would prefer if maybe because they're not going to do updates. He already said there's going to be no DLC, Mr. Sakurai Man. But in a perfect world, they would release a cut down version of this mode. That's maybe one world long. There's, like 10 worlds or something in one run of the game, which stretches out to the 2 hours and some change quote I gave earlier. If they did just one world and had that as like, get your best run of that one world in just one sitting. Maybe no saves or continues or something, and just had that be like its own separate mode within Road Trip, that could give the replay value that I think they were originally hoping that you would get out of this. As it stands, again, it's like a 2 hour investment to complete one run, and then the amount of characters in the game, let's go check. I don't even have them all. Okay, so it's like 21 total, because I don't have everybody. I'm missing Gooey and I'm missing DeRoche. Oh yeah, I haven't played as random yet. There's like achievement for there's an achievement just for playing as a random character in random machine. Actually, is it really just DeRoche and Gooey? I want to say yeah. So okay, we'll say 21 characters. 21 characters, all having to do a 2 hour and some change side mode. Basically 42 hours to get through it with every character. And And the game does keep track of it because it puts the little icons on the title screen. Someone's gonna do it. Where's my reward for using all the characters? There's none in the checklist. Sakurai assumes that you're not gonna do it. All right, but that's my little recap of my thoughts on Road Trip. I like it, but I would like it better if they released a more streamlined experience of it. Don't retool. Don't mess with the current iteration because it's still the single player story content. Like that's still good for one run of the story mode. Don't change the existing Road Trip, but just put a side mode within the mode that lets you do your best of one run of such and such world. And then, like, you know, you can compare it with your friends and see, like, oh, who had the better run or something. And then it would be as replayable as a roguelite. JPM says he ended 10 minutes ago. Snow says, how you doing, Dingus? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Hello, Snow. Hello, G Frosty. Dingus, is Scooter the best car in the game? It's very difficult to control. I think the best vehicle is the Chariot, which is the white one with the cyan wheels. Dingus was faming you earlier, GPM. He played a clip where you couldn't open a child save cap. Oh no, he ended up opening it by the end of the clip. Thank you, Makoto Simp, for the Baja Midnight Blast. Was it Baja Blast Midnight? Yeah. Mountain Dew Baja Blast Midnight is what I was sipping on. Thank you, Goon, for the 140 stream shake. Why are you calling yourself a top bottom? I Googled it. It says the term is verse or versatile for when you're into both. Is that what you mean? No, I wanted something provocative to get you to click on the stream. I watched a clip and apparently the Bulkstar got buffed a shit ton in this compared to the OG. That's what I was reading during the demo, that the Bulkstar is just so fucking good now. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I just cannot get into it. And then I read other people's reactions on the game, and everyone agrees that the Bulkstar is still trash, so what changed? Hey, Yuna. Why is Dinga always swollen? Because cougars never fuck him? Just bake him in apple pies like the 8-year-old he appears to be? I can't tell you why cougars are always nice to me. I don't know. I just remind everyone of their grandson. Because you need to get Gigantus in City Trial. It's fucking Hitler. He appears in City Trial? I didn't know that. Femboy Cougars. Jim Sterling, essentially. No Jim Sterling. And EB, I think you were behind on the lore. Dingus is into femboys now, apparently. I was more than happy with it besides the bosses. I did like the boss rush towards the end. I feel like it comes a little bit too late, but I like the setup for it. And I think there needs to be more bosses, more references to Kirby history. Like we could have tossed in what's a boss that could have been in there? The guy from Star Allies, the Void Termina. You could have tossed in the guys from Forgotten Land. You could have tossed in Dark Nebula. Remember Dark Nebula? I don't. You could have tossed in Dark Matter. Poor Dinga innocently focused on Kirby Air Riders. He has no idea. We don't ship him with trans Jim Sterling. Now don't worry, you can still call him Jim Sterling. That's his official business. He still calls himself Jim Sterling business-wise. Because he knows if he called himself anything else, he would lose engagement. I disagree with Smash Ultimate Classic Mode being more replayable since it isn't random anymore. If you mean 3DS and below, then yeah. I am specifically referring to 3DS Smash Classic, since that seems to be what inspired Road Trip. Hey, Toper. Thank you for the 1 month at tier 1 for 3 months, and he says, chicken scared? I am chicken scared too, thank you. Big ups, Silent Assassin. 213 for the bananas. Thank you for the bananas while I'm rambling about games. Well, this is a platform for playing games, right? Marks might be my fave. Hamster is cool, but those eyes of Marks. Marks is just weird. What is Marks' motivation, really? What does Marks want? If you asked Marks his philosophy, what would he tell you? He's just supposed to be a little pink ball like Kirby, but he's a little jester with shoes. Why does he want to take control of Popstar? Is he just crazy? Hey, Jay Wasu. You call him Jim, I call him crazy. His gaming takes have been insane lately. He still has gaming takes? I thought he just did wrestling shit all day that nobody watched. Okay. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Road Trip, where we are with the checklist. So the reason I'm focusing on top right and air right today, because look at this shit. Empty as fuck. I mean, City Trial is a little bit more filled in, but Road Trip's almost done. I could probably get these later on. I don't even know if you get anything for completing. But yeah, these aren't anything too specific. Oh, well, that's a lie. They're literally specific, but it's not anything that's, you know, out of my reach. They're just specific scenarios that I never encountered while playing through the mode. So I would have to like specifically search out these challenges and then fulfill the Chivo to get it. And then we got the online ones. So obviously we're gonna race online in air right and top right. And see if we can get some fucking matches, man. Let's start with top ride, because that's the one I fear that nobody's gonna be playing. So the later we wait for it, the more dangerous things become. Steer is better. Let's stick with Marks. Let's do the bull tank. Holy shit, people still play this mode? I jinxed it. It's just me and this guy. Oh, wait, hold up. These guys are grinding for Chivos, too. Thankfully, we don't have to wait as long for the lobby to fill up. It's only four players here.
3, 2, 1, start!
Oh no, I'm already losing. Okay, 2 riders with a single quick spin. Whoa, we're already in the bag. Who's throwing Gordo? Stop throwing Gordo. Oh, look at this. I'm raining. I'm being rained. I'm being showered with achievements. No exaggeration. Oh, someone got invincibility. I see it. I'm losing. I'm losing. That bull tank doesn't have that speed I need. Alright, whatever. We got like 3 or 4 achievements out of that. Alright, well, let's keep at it. I do got some videos to watch, too. That'll be another true crime evening. Just gonna pull up the playlist here. I actually got a new dreading uploaded today. Alright, I'm pulling it up. This is, What Happened to Maura Murray by Dreading. It's just uploaded today. I've known about this case for years. It's one of those cases, it's like Mama JF, where despite the many years that have passed since the disappearance of this lady, we still don't know where she is or what happened to her. But this is a case that's been known about by many people into true crime for years. But as I have stated in the past, Dreading goes the extra mile and does all the research and gives you the comprehensive breakdown of what really happened and the moments leading up to the lady's disappearance, or in other cases, murder, or whatever went down or whatever happened in the case in question. In this case, the lady disappeared and she is presumed dead. But there's many things revealed that I was not aware of that lead me to believe... Well, I'll posit my theory after the video. But suffice to say, this is one of those true crime cases you hear about all the time, and it's got like a community of psychos and schizos built around it who want to be armchair detectives and try to solve the case with like no regard at all for the friends and family of the missing. So it's not very wholesome. No, it's not very wholesome. It's quite a disharmony between the game being played on screen and the video being watched. That's a point. If we have to suffer through Arlo, why doesn't Dinga have to suffer through the weekly Gymquisition? Because I stopped watching the Gymquisition years ago. Hey, Nurgle. So how does it feel, bitch? How does it feel to play a good game? It feels great. It's good to know that you like this game, Nurgle. Alright, let's go ahead and start it.
Welcome back to another episode of Dreading, or if this is your first time here,
welcome!
Today we're going to be covering the case of Maura Murray, and how a young woman with her whole life ahead of her seemed to vanish into thin air. This case has been requested since the start of our channel, with one of our first viewer suggestions being that we make a comprehensive video covering this story. However, at the time we received the suggestion, I was still working by myself and didn't feel qualified to discuss what happened here.
For me, Topper, it wasn't
I've been able to hire my brother to work with me, and we've kept our eyes on this case.
It wasn't until every video started getting drowned out with wrestling references. I did not care for his wrestling shit.
As always, if there's a case you would like to see us cover or a topic you would like to bring more attention to, let us know by emailing us at dreading.official@gmail.com. We're still consistently going through our emails and adding your suggestions to our list. With that said, it'll likely take us some time before we can cover your suggestion, as we are just two people, but we promise we are trying. So with all of that said, let us begin. Maura Murray was born on May 4th, 1982, in Hanson, Massachusetts, and was the middle child of an Irish Catholic family. When Maura was just 6 years old, her parents would get a divorce. However, they both stayed active in her life.
That's
and
sad.
She had a great relationship with both of them. She was the fourth child of 5 and strove to stand out amongst her siblings. Her father, Fred, was known for pushing his children towards excellence.
Not that
and
Fred.
Maura, driven in a way that many others were not, would often exceed expectations. She excelled in school, ran cross country and track, set multiple school-wide records, and carried herself with a balance of intensity and affability that was far from normal for a teenager.
Doing true crime tonight.
She was not only
true crime with
and
Kirby.
driven, but also extremely kind and likable. Her friends and family
The duality of
she was always
streams.
smiling and cracking jokes, and was known for, quote, making every room better simply by being in it, unquote. Her teachers and coaches felt similarly.
Happy-go-lucky positive game being played on screen while watching a morbid video.
After high school, she was accepted into West Point, the famous U.S. military academy.
The infamous KS for the 15 streak.
By her older sister, Julie. Julie had found the structure of the military to be helpful in her daily life, and felt that Maura would thrive in the same environment.
Good night, Zoomer.
West Point is the top military academy in the U.S., and famously only accepts around 10% of applicants, but Maura was able to get in without issue. Students are challenged.
See, I've seen other videos on this case. I never knew she went to like a am I supposed to attack the heart there? I never knew she went to like a military academy. But welcome, Apache. Guessing tonight's wrap will be brief. Again, this was another night where I was not able to watch any of the content. A little bit of the pre-stream, but not a lot of the pre-stream. Yeah, sure, DSP is winning and you just have to live with it. Get it? Yeah. This goes with what I said yesterday. I don't have anything more to add. I have not revised any of my thoughts. Yeah, you gotta humbly kneel and be modest and just come back stronger. I was never a gym fan. My preferred content creators just turn out to be rapists, not go trans. So they don't turn out. So you're none of the people you watch have turned out to be trans rapists. You consider yourself lucky.
West Point is the top military academy in the U.S., and famously only accepts around 10% of applicants, but Maura was able to get in without issue. Students are challenged mentally and physically, having to train in hand-to-hand combat and survival skills while taking their courses. They also have to adhere to a strict code of ethics, as they were judged by their moral character alongside...
Oh, we got some DSP stuff. I finally caught up with DSP since Asmon, and what I thought would happen did happen. He got more from Asmon than Asmon got from him. Played victim and made Asmon off, then pignatized him. Pretty much, I forgot I was online. I thought I could just pause it and read Stream Times' message. How the fuck do I queue up and wait in that lobby for like 2 minutes, and then immediately I forget that I'm supposed to be online. And then the game gave me an achievement anyway. But yes, Strange Times, I didn't watch the interview. I still haven't watched it. I need Joshua Connor Moon of the Kiwi Farms to poorly summarize the interview for me while playing like only 5 minutes of footage from the 2-hour ordeal. Then and only then will I truly understand what happened. So I'm going to patiently wait until Friday, and that will be how I consume the interview. But more or less, your thoughts echo mine. Knowing the reactions of others, your thoughts echo my own. What's your opinion of the current DSP news, Renny-kun? You just heard it. I might have to start boycotting DSP content again like I did in Casino Arc. This shit is barely watchable with the fake nice guy shit is just unbearable. I've been fucking washed and zonked with work backwards and forwards this whole week. So the bits and pieces that I've seen are... Well, the most that I had seen today was the pre-stream. King Phil Neal. DSP has mastered the craft, he should have gone into finance business. You mean Christian? Ah, yeah, to be fair, Christian, I suppose, would be considered a trans rapist. One thing of note I noticed Dave was very short with the LARPers today. Will fall off soon, just have to wait it out. He will mind break soon. That's again another you're echoing another sentiment I had yesterday. These people, whether they're ironically pignatized and they're ironically behaving as though they're pignatized just to be funny, just to go along with the bit because they know Asmon's just trying to have a little of his own fun until he gets bored and moves on to like the 10,000 other anti-woke culture war shit that he would rather talk about. Whether you're ironically pignatized or you're unironically pignatized like some of the Casino fans were during the Casino arc, like they actually believed that Triple P wanted to be Phil's soulmate and such and such. Whether you're ironically pignatized or unironically pignatized, you're gonna have to actually play the part. You're gonna actually have to play the part of being a DSP watcher and consumer, and you're gonna have to attempt to engage with the content, and this will organically and naturally result. And these people, whatever camp of viewer of Asmon's that you hail from, the ironically or unironically dented and demented, you will come to the natural conclusion that the guy is boring and unwatchable on most days, and he fucking sucks, and he's a miserable person who somehow, just because of how he is and how he behaves, drives everybody away. And then the novelty will wear off, and Asmon will move on to something else. Like some brown Latina was in a video game, and it was a brown Latina was in a video game remake, and in the original version she used to be white. Desmond Dents think they're owning the libs by donating to the DSP. They didn't see the King of Pride slide into in his pre-stream slideshow. Well, I didn't see it because he got rid of it, didn't he? That hasn't been in the slideshow for a minute. Dingus, your thoughts on Nick Fuentes making a front page of Reddit by saying the first day of his presidency, he's bringing in the National Guard everywhere and removing the women's rights to vote. I think Carl tried to update me on this yesterday, but he didn't give me the full story. He just asked if I had heard what was going on with Fuentes, and I said no, I didn't hear Carl. And then Carl got drunk and never explained what Fuentes was doing. So was that what happened? I have no thoughts on that. Provocative comments to get people's attention, like that shit he said right after Trump won his second term. What was it about taking away women's reproductive rights? Your body, my choice. It's just that. But again, he got the Tucker interview too, but I didn't watch that either, so I've got really no thoughts on it. I guess you could say, is it hypocritical of Tucker? Because I know Tucker's been critical of Fuentes in the past, hasn't he? Perhaps he's not hypocritical, he just had a change of heart. He merely, oh, we got the roach! Alright, we just need to unlock GUI. We just need to unlock GUI now. Tucker's not hypocritical, he just developed and changed his opinion after becoming aware of new facts. DSP is so fucking boring, no way he can keep them coming back. He's so fucking boring, he will freak out over money as soon as it slows down. Here's the thing. He said he was taking away the goals, and he knew already that it was going to be a potentially bad idea, because he said, if I take away the goals and the money slows down, I can't then bring the goals back because then you guys will get after me and you'll say, oh, you're bringing the goals back. You can't do that because you told us you were going to get rid of the goals. So will the goals really well and truly be permanently gone? I think people should keep a counter going. How many days until the goals get brought back, get rationalized into coming back? Is a finance degree, but in case you haven't noticed, he's terrible at his own personal finances. I'm taking a break until it gets funny again. He's zonked! You probably won't miss much funny stuff by tuning out for DSP for 2 weeks at this point. The thing is, the really funny shit is the shit that everybody talks about, where even if you just tune in tangentially on the side, you check your Twitter or your occasional detractor server, or even the Twitch chat, you just dip in for a couple of minutes during your lunch break, you will inevitably find some sort of discussion about X funny DSP thing that happened that day or that week. I don't think this will fall off soon. These people are fucking dented. These people. Alright, I'm scrolling down. Carl was drunk saying slurs. Carl was drunk. Carl, he was out of hand. Just for some transparency on this, I did talk to Carl this morning. He was alright. I did say, hey, Carl, are you okay? Are you drunk? Carl, please don't die and get a hangover. And he was like, yeah, I'm good. And he gave me a little big old fat thumbs up emoji. So Carl is alive. I can confirm that Carl did not get drunk on his way to the casino. Carl did not crash on his way to the casino. And he did not die of liver failure in the casino, on the casino floor. How do people not realize Nick works with the feds? I think they need someone to champion, someone young. And the guy they were championing got shot in the jugular. So I think, is it any wonder? Is it any wonder why they started giving him all these interviews and all this spotlight? It's all of a sudden they don't hate him anymore right after the other guy got shot in the jugular. Your body, my choice was a wild comment. It was pretty out of pocket. If Asmund does anything, I'm begging him to get on another platform. I want roll call of like 5 platforms daily. We should get DSP on Party. Yeah, Jump, thank you for the ding coin. It was boring. I watched all the interview. To be fair, tonight was a little slower, 392 compared to the 3 other streams. Is it already tapering off that badly, though? He mentioned goals being removed and then mentioning he may have to bring them back as a cop-out. He will bring them back. Yeah, that's a preemptive excuse for if he has to bring them back. But he did note that if he was to do that, even with that preemptive shit stated, that he knows the viewers will get after him for doing that. I don't watch a ton of Asmon's gameplay before I see he's bad at most games, so I think they're conditioned to shitty gameplay. It doesn't take much effort to be a base gamer and play games poorly. Thing is, every time I see an Asmon clip or whatever, I guess it's fair in that I don't watch the full streams, but I saw at least one stream VOD when he laughed at DSP clips the first time, when he was playing Mario Kart World a few months ago. So I looked at the full Asmon VOD for that stream because I clipped it. And I looked through the whole this motherfucker didn't play a game the whole stream. And then DSP wants to treat like Asmon like he's a gaming streamer and his audience like watch Asmon play games. I'm sure there's gaming content at various points in some of those VODs, but isn't it more often than not that he just boots up the stream and talks about either politics or drama or just whatever is hot in the moment in the news sphere? It doesn't feel like gaming is the priority with the content, and that's fine too. That is fine. I just think it's very weird that he went into that interview almost like he was talking to somebody else, like he didn't really understand what sector Asmon was from. Shroom had a good way of putting it, and he put it so succinctly. I was listening to Shroom, and Shroom was like, does DSP even know who he talked to? It's like, they talked about games and how like Asmon really liked Clair Obscur. Did Asmon Gold stream in Clair Obscur the whole way through? He acted like Asmon Gold was this big ass fan of Clair Obscur, and he probably is, but then he streamed the whole game for his audience because Phil was acting like they were so into Clair Obscur because Asmon was so into Clair Obscur. So therefore they must want to watch DSP play Clair Obscur. But did they even watch Asmon Gold play Clair Obscur? Did Asmon Gold play it off stream? I don't fucking know. From what I've seen, this guy cries more about politics and culture war shit than actually playing games. And of course the roaches. Cries about the roaches too. And his bleeding teeth. His bleeding gums that he wipes on the wall. And of course, that's fine. That's a career choice. That's a career choice. I can't begrudge that. He is a winner, or at least he was a winner before he kneeled to King Phil. Prior to that, he was a winner, and as this one great streamer said to me once upon a time, unironically, I do mean that by great streamer. He unironically said, "You can't shit on a winner because they have won." And you know what? I can't help but agree with that. It doesn't matter what I think of Asmongold because he has already won. He's already set for life. And if there's one thing I can respect about him, is that the money has not changed him. All the money in the world, and he still lives in a pigsty. Hey, Drawn Fraga. Hello, Drawn Fraga. Is ESP officially white hot popular again? For the moment. It's just like the casino arc again, where it's popular for the moment, then the novelty goes away. Blame conspiracy brain dingus. It was a French legion with the help of the Israel who killed Charlie Kirk is trying to kill Candace Owens. Check Candace Owens' Twitter. The Macarons are trying to kill. Oh no, I know about. Well, I know offhand about Candace Owens' weird out-of-body experience dreams about Charlie Kirk. Were they in a relationship? I think people were theorizing about that. That's why she felt so affected by his death. But like Charlie was married, but people theorized like it was a behind-the-scenes kind of thing. I don't care about the slurs. It's Twitch that's the problem. Now, like in theory, if I could have the chat run wild, I would. Up to a point. Now, the number one thing I'd probably felt is just spam. Because at that point, it's like, whoa, look at me. The epic troll of, like, spamming the chat. It's like, whoa, buddy. Now, the issue becomes where it's, like, present on the chat overlay. And Carl did self-censor. But he was drunk enough to where he was trying to type in the actual word. Thankfully, the auto mod caught it, like the global auto mod, because of course it's like hard coded that as soon as it detects the word completely uncensored, I don't even see it. Carl knows that he typed it from his end because he told us that he typed it out and it went through, but the auto mod caught it. But the word is so negative to Twitch that I didn't even see the auto mod catch it. There was no notification that it was sent to my side. Like I didn't even see it get deleted. And Juzzy was present and he's also a mod. Juzzy didn't see it get deleted from his end either. Typing that word out in a Twitch chat is so toxic that you don't even see it go through and get deleted. It just does not go through. But the censored version went through, and I couldn't have that on the chat overlay. Not when there's a extremely positive 24-hour charity marathon next week. Why? So I had to politely but firmly bonk Carl on the head. So I gave him a 10-second timeout. And really, the purpose of that was to just have his messages get wiped out from the chat overlay. Spends more time watching Fox News and CNN than playing games these days, yeah? Okay, so that lines up with the one or two VODs that I had seen. I didn't want to mischaracterize them. Because all the clips I see are just news segments. And his thoughts on the anti-woke thing of the now. But I didn't want to mischaracterize that because, you know, it could have been could be a possibility that maybe the games are majority gameplay. Just the only things that get clipped are the news segments because maybe he thinks no one wants to see clips of his gameplay. And sorry, I've had the video paused for so long because I just went on that tangent. Anyway, yeah, don't worry about it. The king will go back to being Phil before long. You just gotta let it sit, give it time. Hey, Reddimator. The goals will return. Yeah, tonight was very front-loaded, then maybe $22 during gameplay, ended with $392 compared to $800 last night and this morning. We'll see if that gets mentioned during the daily wrap about how it's already falling off. He got on, started getting money, complained about a headache, got more money, gameplay continues, money slows down, mentions the headache again towards the end of the stream again. Now he's sympathy baiting by mentioning the headache! Didn't Worski used to do post-show streams where he just played Zelda for hours? Yes. And then, I think he really started realizing that he prefers sleeping, so he stopped doing the post-show. But yeah, he would do They would do like an 8-hour casino, and then Worski would just continue going live after Triple P went to bed for another 4 to 6 hours, just playing games and watching videos. Kind of like what I'm doing right now. Probably streamed more games than Asmongold this year, probably. Even with Worski stopping the post show for the moment. Makes more money from shit other than gaming at this point. We are officially losers, and Asmongold will get all the tractors removed for Twitch and get Phil's partnership back. Suffer real dents. Money's definitely changed him. Used to watch him back in the day. His ego is way, way up. I don't care if he's rich. Anything, if anything, that should make you dislike him more. Asmongold game system, we get reaction videos. Oh, we gotta put respect on his name because he makes 6 figures a month. The only funny thing of his new arc is the cope from RTU is so hard. If we get the Smash DT collab with Phil, it'd be greatness. I keep hearing that there's a Smash DT collab in the works. I saw, I think, a tweet. But if Phil has mentioned it on stream, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Asmongold is just Ralph, but not high or drunk, basically. They both live in Pigsty, so I guess that's fair. One of them just doesn't live in Mexico. Missed the post shows. I thought I stopped because Kino Ween was approaching. No, I think he just stopped because it cut into his sleep schedule. The post shows had been stopping long before Kino Ween restarted. The post show was Psycho. Psycho was here once. I think it was that day I got shouted out by them, and I don't know how he found the stream, but like Psycho popped in. I was like, oh, hey Psycho. He found it the same way Dumpy Koala found the stream. I still don't know what the fuck was up with like the brief period Dumpy Koala showed up for like 3 streams, and then he disappeared. And I was curious, so I actually went looking for the account recently. There's a little revelation here. I went looking for the Dumpy Koala account, and it doesn't exist anymore. Either he changed the name or closed the channel. Expand Dong, a legend. Dingus stalking viewers? No, because I was curious what happened to that account, because we saw him for like a week and then didn't see him anymore. So I wondered if he was still LARPing elsewhere and like what the fuck was up with that. So I went peeking, and no, I put in the channel name and gone. Wait, Mix It Up might pull it up. Hold up, Mix It Up, users, Dumpy Koala. Yeah, here it is, Dumpy Koala Real. So Mix It Up keeps an archive of users that have been in your chat, and I have Dumpy Koala here. If he has changed name, it will give me the updated username after I click on his info tab here. It'll automatically update it to check if he's changed his username. So if Dumpy Koala still has a Twitch account, I will expose in real time what Dumpy Koala's Twitch account now is. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, it's still Dumpy Koala Real. Okay, I guess he just closed the account. I swear the last time I pulled it up, it returned an error. So if you close the account, you can reopen it, can't you? Like if you close it on your own, if you're not banned. So maybe he closed it for a time and then reopened it? Thank you, Nurgle, for the recommendation. Purduku? I don't think I've won a single one of these. I should switch to Dero just to try him out. Alright, let me see. Does this account still exist? Yeah, look! That is so weird. Did he get banned? So if Dumpy Koala changed his name, Mix It Up would update. Because I've seen it happen before. Rinny-kun is here. Rinny-kun's a good example. So if I was to click on your name back when you were Moxie, it would update Moxie and it would turn to Rinny-kun. I click on Dumpy Koala, the name doesn't change, meaning he has not updated his username. So Mix It Up has nothing to update it to. What it actually means is that he either closed the account or he got banned. And I'm pretty sure if you close the account, it has a unique message stating that the user closed their account. So basically, I'm putting Dumpy Koala on blast for no reason. I know not what happened to him. The only other recourse is that he must have gotten banned for something. Sofa Danny Koala? Does Dave even know who Smash JT is? Was he brought up in the Review Tech documentary that he reacted to with Kino? I can't even recall. Maybe. Alright, I gotta rewind the video so much now. I'm fucking distracted.
Point is the top military academy in the US, and famously only accepts around 10% of applicants, but Mora was able to get in without issue. Students are challenged mentally and physically, having to train in hand-to-hand combat and survival skills while taking their courses. They also have to adhere to a strict code of ethics, as they were judged by their moral character alongside their grades and ability to perform. According to letters that Mora had sent to her family during her time in West Point, she didn't thrive in the environment. For most young adults, college is the first time that they're on their own, and is viewed as a time to express themselves and make mistakes. Mora had spent the entirety of her teenage years
Bill wasn't on his own until he moved to Washington.
So it made sense that she would want to spread her wings a bit, but West Point didn't allow that. The cadet code of conduct was so strict that she routinely found herself bumping up against it without meaning to. She was only at the academy for 3 semesters, during which time she was brought before the disciplinary board 7 times. On a training trip to Fort Knox, Mora had been caught shoplifting makeup from the commissary. The theft seemed to be motivated by
Okay, wait. They were brought to the board for 7 times, kept brushing up against the code of ethics without meaning to. First example is that she was caught shoplifting. Without meaning to? Maybe don't shoplift, especially from the fucking commissary. There can... The thing with doing that is that there can only be so many people who shop at the commissary because it's only for people at the base versus like a regular fucking store. It could be any amount of people who come and go out of the store. But the commissary, only so many people have access to shop at that fucking facility. Why would you shoplift from there?
Thrill above all else, as Mora had the money to buy the makeup on her person.
She wasn't even broke!
She confessed to what she'd done and complied with the school's investigation. When she was brought before the board, they made the final decision that she was not welcome at West Point, and she was allowed to withdraw instead of being expelled. After her withdrawal, she transferred to the University of Massachusetts Amherst to study nursing. Notably, it was a field that still demanded discipline, but without the rigid hierarchy of military life. But Mora's focus wasn't solely on the nursing program. She was also balancing 2 part-time jobs, as well as a long-distance relationship with her boyfriend, Billy, and had been running track in her first few semesters at the school. She was under constant pressure from all sides, and rarely had any time for herself. Reportedly, early on in her time at Amherst, she would succumb to an injury that left her unable to run track. This would have been a massive blow to Mora, as she had defined herself by her physical abilities, and scarcely knew who she was without them. In the months before Mora disappeared, she was involved in a minor incident while working security. Somehow, while checking students into the dorm, she'd been able to steal someone's credit card information. She used their credit card to deliver—
Oh yeah, totally. Brushing up against the code of ethics without really meaning to. By the way, I stole someone's credit card info.
large amounts of food to her dorm room.
Oops, I went double speed.
While working security. Somehow, while checking students into the dorm, she'd been able to steal someone's credit card information. She used their credit card to deliver large amounts of food to her dorm room 6 separate times, with the total cost being $79.02. While it's unclear whether or not Mora bought
That's
all the
one
food for
DoorDash
herself
order
every
for Phil.
time, or if she was sharing food with a friend, Mora is said to have been struggling with an eating disorder. She was not nearly as active as she had been in high school.
Yeah, the eating disorder is ordering too much.
Working out while being under a tremendous amount of stress.
Put down the
achievers
fork.
often present themselves as models of discipline, but beneath that exterior, there is a relentless pressure to maintain perfection. And for many people like Mora, that pressure to perform becomes internalized. This is the point where unhealthy coping mechanisms can quietly take root beneath the surface.
Whoa. Stop the presses. Massive alert. Well, first of all, big ups Juzzy51. The re-up tier 1 for 46 months. And he says, shout out the fat guys, expanded ones, and the rest of the Dongus community. Solo 5 happy. Thank you, Juzzy51, for the re-up. Thank you, Anne. 1337. for the raid. What a party, 24. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope Clear Obscure was pretty fun. We're gonna do some more Kirby Air Ride, focusing on Top Ride and the regular Air Ride mode to get some Chivos. Gonna go Chivo hunting. Big ups Joblaw. Big ups to Loop One. Anybody else coming in? Thank you again, Juzzy, for the re-up, and thank you, Ann, for the raid. But if she's dead, I take that comment back out of respect. So she's missing, but has been missing since 2004. We know nothing. We know not of what happened to her. He'll explain the situation as we go on. As he paints the picture of what her life was prior to her disappearance, many of the details I didn't know about, despite watching dozens of other videos about this case, really shows you that Dreading does his research. The picture he paints leads me to kind of agree what his theory ends up being towards the end, which is that it isn't a perpetrator. Like there's no perpetrator involved, in my opinion. I think he ends the win for the 45 stream streak. No, it's not a Mama JF situation.
My name is Anne.
Let me know if you need extra video for filler style content. I should be good for tonight, but thank you for the offer. She's been on the run for 2 decades, started a new life under an assumed identity. That could be the case. She could be a secret double agent like Mama JF. Maybe it really is like Mama JF. Just with no smelly French Canadian involved. Thank you for the raid!
Disorders like bulimia often have much less to do with food itself and everything to do with control. People who look disciplined, composed, and responsible often struggle most with feelings that they can't afford to fail publicly. So instead, the stress is redirected inward toward the one area of life that they believe they can dictate with absolute authority, their own body. Binging offers a moment of release, while purging
Not according
offers
to
a
Nick
moment
Fuentes. Nick Fuentes says, your body, my choice. You don't actually have control over your body.
This is redirected inward toward the one area of life that they believe they can dictate with absolute authority, their own body. Binging offers a moment of release, while purging offers a moment of correction, a sort of reset button.
She's stealing from the big mart in the sky.
Enforcing
We can only
themselves
hope
to purge, whether that be through actual regurgitation or extreme workouts. The person feels as if they are demonstrating their own dedication to themselves. They are hurting themselves, sure, but only to get back on track.
I'm not sure about that, actually. I feel as though eating disorders are a symptom of being completely out of control over your own body. I guess it depends. Perhaps subjectively you think you are in control of your body, but in reality it's your momentals. Your momentals are so scrambled that you don't actually have control over your body, but you think you do. But in reality, it's the disorder eating away your mentals and just causing you to be kookly about what you eat, what you either eat or don't eat, whether you're eating too much or not eating enough. Yeah, your perception. Yeah, you know, you said it better than I did with that message. Your perception of yourself isn't aligned with your desire. You think you have control over what you're eating or not eating, but in actuality, you don't. You just think that you do. If you never listened to the channel, there's a nice creepy one called Bedtime Stories. They had a good update on a story from the Yuba County 5. Very interesting, on the ground investigating to find a possible suspect decades later. Oh, okay. I didn't know that it was a true crime that you had involved. I know about that case. It's about the five Dents who went missing in the snowy wilderness, and they found the cabin, and one of them was surviving, but they didn't. All the details of what really all happened have not been made clear all these decades later. Yeah, if you wanna, you can send that in the DMs if you want.
Through actual regurgitation or extreme workouts, the person feels as if they are demonstrating their own dedication to themselves. They are hurting themselves, sure, but only to get back on track. It's a punishment that they deserve for a wrong action. Both behaviors reinforce the illusion that even when life feels overwhelming, they can still enforce order somewhere. It's the same psychological architecture that makes someone a strong student or a dedicated athlete. In Mora's case, it's not hard to imagine how these pressures could accumulate. She worked exceptionally hard all throughout high school, breaking school records and being the top of every class. There was nothing she couldn't do, and people praised her for it. But the moment she was out on her own, things began to shift. She was getting into trouble, forced to withdraw from West Point, and feeling as if she could do nothing right. And so in times of deep stress and when she needed some relief, she would binge. Then afterwards, feeling ashamed of what she had done, she would purge, hoping through that lone action she could gain some control over her life. So when the credit card holder noticed the charges, they contacted the police, who waited for Mora to try and use the card again. That very night, she placed another large order at the same pizza parlor, and once she had signed the credit card receipt fraudulently, the police confronted her. During Mora's conversation with police,
they staked outside the pizza parlor waiting for her.
That this photo looks remarkably different than other photos of Mora, given her serious expression. However, given the fact that this was a mugshot being taken by police, it was obviously a stressful situation for the young woman, so her appearance here is not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, she looks
very
not amused.
Mora admitted that she used the credit card and had gotten the information.
GPM says, also Dingus, first hour of Legend of Dragoon is pretty good. Seems like a traditional RPG story. It's comfy. Well, Anne is still here. Anne's played it the whole way through. I've only played a demo of Legend of Dragoon, but I liked it. I think demo I played covers like the first area. Let's try NordDD. But yeah, I simply did not play enough of that, but I did like what I played of it. Anne says it's a wild-ass story. Yeah, he started it today. I think he made it to the prison. I know it's like that's supposed to be one of the first major dungeon-style areas. Legend of Dragoon is a hidden gem for sure. That was like really late era PS1, maybe like 2000 around there, at least for the English version. I do have one of the tracks from the OST in the backup playlist. It's the I think it's the one that plays when there's like a dialogue heavy scene, when there's like with some tension. Anne knows it's like the one. It's the one that's like do 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 dun 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 do 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 dun do 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 dun 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 do do do. Yeah, it's that one. I like that track. It's a I like tracks that make you think. Like conversational pieces that make you think about what the characters are talking about. It really gets you into the story.
Information off of a receipt
Shame about
she found in the
Shame they never
garbage.
made it into a
Though
franchise.
This is no longer the case. If you paid with a credit card, the details of said card would be printed in its entirety on the receipt. Obviously, this has been changed, given how simple it was for a credit card fraud to occur. The charge
They just straight up put the whole credit card digits on the receipt back today?
After 3 months of good behavior. But receiving an actual criminal charge would have been devastating for Mora. This was a person who spent their entire life overachieving and working tirelessly, even at their own detriment.
You know, this explains why Mama Dingus, to this day, she'll always tell me to tear up receipts. Tear it all up. Dude, you know why they did that? They did that to help Big Paper Shredder. They did it to help Big Paper Shredder make their fucking money off their paper shredders. Mandatory paper shredders in every home, having to be purchased just so you could safely toss away your receipts without having to worry about this lady coming to garbage dumpster dive your fucking trash for your receipts with your credit card digits on it.
Good behavior. But receiving an actual criminal charge would have been devastating for Mora. This was a person who spent their entire life overachieving and working tirelessly, even at their own detriment, to put forward a perfect facade, and within the first few years of being out of high school, had shattered that in multiple ways. Like her shoplifting from the commissary, multiple sources state that Mora had more than enough money to cover the cost of the food. But like her need to exercise extreme disordered control over her eating, her crimes can also be seen as a way she tried to relieve the mounting tension in her life. Shoplifting in particular has a documented pattern among individuals who feel trapped by expectations. It isn't usually about needing the item, it's about the temporary drop in anxiety that occurs during the act. For a few moments,
Just the thought that you could get away with
from
it.
internal pressure to
It depends on the shoplifter.
Psychologists sometimes refer to this as self-soothing through risk.
I feel like
a
the
behavior
homeless
that
bandits
gives
do
a
it
brief
because they
sense of relief
kind of
or
need
clarity
to.
in the middle of emotional overload. So when she's stealing, she isn't thinking about her relationship with her boyfriend, or how her sister is struggling, or how her parents might be disappointed in her. She's just thinking about getting away with it. Credit card fraud, especially at the low level Mora was cited for, fits the same pattern. It's a quick, impulsive decision made in the moment. But it's also an issue of control.
Wait, this explains DSP on WWE Champions. It's a quick, impulsive decision made in the moment because he feels like it gives him control of his finances. It's why he orders so much fast food. It gives him control in the moment.
When life feels unpredictable, people often gravitate towards behaviors that give them a momentary sense of...
Banks used to put your entire account number on your receipts as well. I never... Look, I was a baby. I was a fucking zygote when they did it like that. I hadn't had my first card yet. That explains a lot. I guess I just... You know, you learn something new every day. I just figured the receipts always had, like, the censored versions. This really explains why paper shredders used to be, like, a big thing. I really didn't know. This explains why Mama Dingus and Papa Dingus, you know, would always say, hey, you just tear up your receipts, tear it up, it's got your name on it, it's got your shit on, tear it up, tear it up. It was like, what? I mean, what could you possibly get from this receipt? Tear it up, put it in the shredder. And then the shredder broke. But there's still, like, to this day, like, oh, tear up your shit, be careful when you toss it away. And I always wondered, like, what would the reason be for that? Like, are there, like, snake oil salesmen unironically dumpster diving for my information so they could send me chainmail and scams to my email? Or no, in reality, it was because of crooks like this. Crooks actually fucking digging through the dumpster for my information.
Power. For some, it becomes substance use. For others, restrictive eating.
Yeah, identity
and for
theft.
a subset of high-stress individuals,
Makes sense.
Small acts of rule-breaking create a strange sense
Yeah,
of
Nate,
balance.
you can do a lot with a name
In
and
that
address.
context, her shoplifting and credit card theft were indicators of someone who felt overwhelmed, isolated, and caught between who they are expected to be and what they're actually capable of handling in that moment. But Maura wasn't the only member of her family that was struggling during this time. This information was only made public in 2017, but while Maura was struggling in college, her sister Kathleen was struggling with alcohol dependency. Details about what Kathleen was going through at the time are sparse, but in February 2004, she had been admitted to a rehab facility. There, she was able to get clean and sober. However, once she was released, her fiancé immediately drove her to a liquor store, which resulted in her relapse. On February 5th, while Maura was working at the security desk in her dorm, she was making receive a few calls. The first call she would receive came at around 10:10 p.m. and lasted nearly 20 minutes. Kathleen had called her and told
really
her
kept
about
your
her
fiancé
relapse.
in high
Though
spirits.
This call was said to be emotionally
Get it?
taxing for Maura. Outwardly, her coworkers said she seemed fine. Phone records would show that
Hey,
she
you're out of
received
rehab.
another
Let's go to
call
a
at
fucking
12:07
liquor
a.m.
store.
from her boyfriend Billy.
Let's go to
Following
Specs.
that call, phone records would show that she received another call, this one being from the work phone, from an unknown number at 12:40 a.m., which left her visibly distraught. The call was later traced to another campus telephone line, but at the time of writing, we don't know who was on the other end of that call. Maura's coworkers would state that she broke down in tears after this specific call. Her supervisor would go to check on her, only to find her despondent. She seemed unaware of her surroundings, to the point where she was mostly unresponsive to their questions and concerns. According to their testimony, when she was asked what she was doing, she simply said, "My sister," then refused to speak. At that point, they escorted her back to her dorm. Her supervisor asked Maura if she would like her to stay and talk, or simply just to be there for her, but Maura said no, and went
She
further
didn't
to
need
state
any
that
moral
her
support.
roommate would be home, so she would be well looked after. But this was a lie, as she lived alone. There's no
She
evidence that Maura
lied.
did anything that night besides go to bed. However, her odd reaction to the third phone
Wait, so she lies, she cheats, and she steals?
call has caused many people to speculate as to what her
Mamacita.
reaction was caused by. As stated, her sister had called her earlier that night, and though she wasn't happy during the call, she was able to continue working without issue for the next few hours. When asked what was wrong, she brought up her sister, but was unclear about which one. Though it may seem obvious to say Kathleen, as that was the sister she had most recently spoken with, she was much closer to her sister Julie, and might have been attempting to ask her coworkers to contact her. Her having a delayed reaction to her sister's relapse is also not uncommon, as it might have taken a bit of time for the gravity of the situation to sink in. It's also very possible that Maura tried her best to move past the news while she was at work, not wanting to make a spectacle of herself, but was
But just
unable
ended
to
up
hold it
trashed
together
out
for
instead.
a long period of time. According to friends and family, the relationship had become contentious due to the distance. Both had allegedly cheated on the other, but decided to stay together. However, Billy's cheating deeply hurt Maura. This statement has been contested by Billy, as well as Maura's father, Fred. Billy alleged that the pair were, quote, engaged to be engaged, and that the relationship was fine. Meanwhile, Fred would state that the pair would have, quote, ended up married, unquote, and that Maura was excitedly arranging her life to be closer to him. And then there is this mysterious third call. This call was...
Hello, Pinto Decadhedron? That was clutch. Yeah, I really thought I was gonna mess it up there. I like Nor Diddy, but let's switch to... Yeah, let's switch it up to Chariot. Yeah, welcome in. I'm grinding top right Chivos right now while listening to True Crime. It's how I unwind after a long workday.
Made to the work phone, and in the 2 decades that have elapsed while this case has been open, no one has come forward to say that they were on the other end of the call. It's possible that the call was simply a concerned student making a report about someone's drunken antics, which triggered Maura due to her sister's struggles. But the fact that no one has ever come forward is odd. On Saturday, February 7th, Maura's father, Fred, would drive to Amherst to take Maura car shopping. She'd been driving a 1996 black Saturn, which had been less than reliable. According to friends, the car was constantly breaking down on her, leaving her stranded and making it hard to get her to her clinical nursing courses that were out of the area. She'd been forced to carpool for her fall semester, and Fred had planned to get her a newer vehicle, taking out around $4,000 from various ATMs. Notably, Maura had not informed any of her friends of her father's upcoming visit, or her plans to get a new car. The pair would spend the afternoon car shopping, but ultimately left the lots empty-handed, as he didn't have enough funds to cover the purchase. They then picked up one of Maura's friends and went out to dinner. After dinner, Fred would drive the girls to a liquor store, where they would purchase a considerable amount of liquor. Fred's story about this trip has changed somewhat, as he originally stated that he stayed in the car while the girls shopped. Later on, he would claim that he told the girls to hurry up as they were shopping, implying that he had gone inside with them. After acquiring the alcohol,
he could have yelled them from the car.
Brand new Corolla would drop her father off at his hotel before going to a campus party. Fred would allow Maura, who just bought a significant amount of alcohol, to take his car, despite knowing that she was going to be drinking. This decision would obviously end terribly. The party was held by one of Maura's co-workers at her second job. According to police records, no one at this party besides the host knew Maura or her friend. Moreover, there is no record of who was at this party besides Sarah and Maura's friend, as they both went on to state that they don't remember who was there or what happened at the party, and if Maura spoke to anyone there or if she left with anyone. And the fact that neither of these women could remember any details about the party independent of each other is deeply suspicious, especially since Sarah was the one throwing the party. How she held an event but had no idea who was possibly invited or who actually attended has led people to suspect that she either purposely is lying to the police or has something to hide.
Or she's the worst party planner ever.
Had drugged those in attendance. Surely there would be some record of who she invited either on her phone or email. But in the years that have elapsed since this case was publicized,
she just let everybody go. Everybody and anybody
of the reasoning,
was allowed to
this
attend.
Day, we still don't know what happened during this party.
Ooh,
Only that Maura left at 2:30 a.m. to drive her father's car back to the motel he was staying in. We know for a fact that Maura had been drinking, and in her stupor, she would fail to turn at a T intersection and instead crashed into the guardrail, totaling her father's brand new car. The police responded to the incident, but no charges were filed. Their statement notes that Maura was visibly shaken, but despite having spent the past few hours drinking and having been in a fixed object collision, which most commonly occurs to impaired individuals, she was not given a breathalyzer or any field sobriety tests. Again, this detail is incredibly odd. Maura had been drinking, obviously so, and yet the officers who came to the scene did not notice or care. The responding officers then drove Maura to the motel her father was staying in, and somehow she gained entry into his room. Despite not having a key card, Fred notably was not woken up when she entered the bedroom, or when she used his phone to call her boyfriend. At 4:49 a.m., a call was made on Fred's cell phone to Billy by Maura. According to Billy, he consoled her about the accident, as she seemed deeply shaken up, but he felt that, quote, there was more than just the accident on her mind, unquote. When her father eventually woke up to find Maura in his hotel room, he would state that she was deeply distraught about the accident. She was apologetic, so much so that Fred stated he wasn't really upset about what had happened. He would go further to state that, quote, she was upset but it was okay. If this is the only trouble a kid ever causes, then you're pretty lucky as a parent.
Billy Dingus, not that
wasn't
Billy.
the only trouble she got into. However, his statement would imply that he was either unaware of why she really left West Point and the subsequent credit card theft, but this statement was made after she had gone missing. Fred would state that he was more concerned about how he would be getting home, as he had an obligation to work the following day. But after a few calls, he found that his insurance would cover the accident, and then got himself a rental car and dropped Maura off at her dorm. He would call her later that night around 11:30 to remind her to pick up the accident forms from the DMV for his insurance. According to him, she was still apologetic about the accident, but was otherwise fine. However, within the next 24 hours, Maura would vanish without a trace. Shortly after speaking to her dad, she would use MapQuest to search for directions from Amherst, Massachusetts to Burlington, Vermont, which would be around a 3-hour drive. The directions themselves didn't mark a location in Burlington she was trying to reach, and no one in Maura's life knew any reason why she would want to go there.
Yeah, look, Papa Dingus used to use MapQuest all the time. That's how you know it was 2004, mentioning the MapQuest there.
Around 3 a.m., Maura would email a homework assignment to one of her classmates. The assignment was for each student to Google a set of terms and email them to each other. Following sending the homework,
dude, that's like the easiest assignment ever.
The following morning, there was
all you have to do is Google something and email it to a classmate.
According to phone
that was
records,
the whole assignment.
They called Maura several times that morning and afternoon.
Hey, Chris Phoenix, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking.
Just before 1 p.m. on February 9th, 2000.
Dude, that's some real height of the internet shit. And that's a college assignment. Google something. Send it to your classmate. Wow, buddy.
Before, Maura would place a call to Dominic and Linda Salomon, owners of a privately rented condominium at the Seasons at Attitash Resort in Bartlett, New Hampshire. The Murray family had stayed at the Seasons before, though never at the Salomon unit specifically. The property wasn't the kind of place one could reserve spontaneously, as the Salomons were choosy about who they rented their condo out to. The call itself lasted 3 minutes. The couple would later admit that they remembered very little from that conversation, especially since nearly a year had passed before police contacted them for details. They were confident about one thing though, that being that Maura did not book their condominium. Linda would later speculate that she may have offered Maura other lodging suggestions, given the area's tourism layout, but she was unable to recall what she actually said. What is known is that for some reason,
word essay to
Maura
in
was
4 hours.
some time away from school.
Oh no, how will I ever finish it?
Life. Around the same time period, Maura emailed her boyfriend in response to his multiple calls. The email read, quote, "I love you."
This is also how you know it's old as fuck. People use in lieu. This is pre-smartphone era. In lieu of just texting, you would just straight up email. You would just email your friends and like email them as though you were texting them.
Away from school on her own without telling anyone in her life. Around the same time period, Maura emailed her boyfriend in response to his multiple calls. The email read, quote, "I love you more, stud. I got your messages, but honestly, I didn't feel like talking to much of anyone. I promised to call today though. Love you, Maura." Unquote. Maura's friends and family have said that this was deeply out of character for her, as she was always quick to respond to their messages, no matter what she was doing. It was exceedingly rare that she ever needed space or was unable to talk. At 1:13 p.m., shortly after that call, Maura reached out to a fellow nursing student, though there was no confirmed record as to why. Some investigators have noted that she may have been arranging to return borrowed scrubs. Family members maintain that this would fit her personality, as they believe that even in moments of personal stress, she tended to tie up loose ends. Returning the scrubs could have simply been a courteous thing to do, given that she was planning to leave the area for an unknown amount of time. However, it could also indicate that she was not planning on returning at all. At 1:24 p.m., Laura would then email her professors as well as her boss at the art gallery that she would be, quote, "heading home for a week due to a death in the family," unquote. But no such death had occurred. Many people have speculated as to...
Okay, so she lies to her professors and says that there's a death in a family and she'll be away. She can't go to class and she can't go to work. In my opinion, and I was looking to the comments, and this line really stuck out to me. I think she wasn't lying. But I think she was telling the truth, but not in the way that you might think.
To why she would tell such an outrageous lie. However, the purpose
I don't think it was a lie.
By claiming there was a death in the family, she was making it harder for her bosses or professors to penalize her absence. It takes a fair bit of time to save up a week's worth of vacation days, and obviously you don't get excused absences from your classes without due cause. If she simply wanted a break, she needed to think of a valid reason that she could be excused without anyone asking too many questions or being punished. Similarly, if she was attempting to run away or trying to purposely disappear, she was giving herself a week's head start, so to speak. At 2:05 p.m., Maura would call a centralized system for booking hotels in Stowe, Vermont. The timing was odd, and the call was ultimately unproductive as the system was actually down at the time, so no reservations could be made. But the call shows that Mora wasn't simply browsing ideas. She was actively seeking a place to go, even if her destination remained fluid. First Bartlett, then Stowe. Both areas far from campus, both connected to quiet rural landscapes, and both happened to be reachable within a few hours' drive. At 2:18 p.m., she followed up by calling Billy directly and leaving a voicemail. According to Billy's mother, Mora's message was short and emotional, something along the lines of, "I love you, I miss you, I want to talk." Notably, Billy did not pick up the call because he was attempting.
I think it's important with the context of the disorders, the shoplifting, the upbringing. Now we're talking about like deaths in the family and lying to our professors and making reservations like we're gonna leave all of a sudden, pack up and go. I think all this together paints a very emotional picture, and it's why I agree with the theory that he posits toward the end.
To call Mora's friend, Kate, who had been at the party with her. Billy called Kate's phone, as well as her dorm phone, within the span of 3 minutes. He had called Mora multiple times that day, and having been unable to contact her, began reaching out to her friends. This was not uncommon for Billy, according to those close to the couple, as they stated he could be controlling over her. While Mora had been making calls and sending emails, she had also seemingly been packing.
Ironically, this is one of the one cases where the boyfriend really didn't do it.
She never properly unpacked her belongings after she returned for the spring semester, which had only just begun. Regardless, when campus police would find her room, all of her items were still packed away in boxes. All of the art she had previously had on the walls was taken down, and she had printed out an email between her and Billy, which she left on top of the boxes. According to police records, the boxes were purposely placed, as if to draw specific attention to the email on top. The contents of the...
Saying it like that, so the boxes are arranged with the printed email on top, arranged in such a way that it's supposed to eye grab your attention. It's like she was doing the yellow paint thing, but in her room. And I think it again speaks to what her emotional state may have been at the time.
The email revolved around Billy having cheated on her months before, and how devastated she was over the infidelity. From how the room was set up, it was clear that she wanted to draw attention to the heartbreak for whatever reason. Only she was aware of her plan, but it's unlikely that she arranged the boxes in that manner and left the email on top by accident, given how the police have discussed it. Meaning that if she had purposely gone missing, the email was to serve as an explanation. At 3:30 p.m., Mora would pack some clothing, toiletries, her birth control, some of her textbooks, her cell phone and charger, her favorite stuffed animal from childhood, and a diamond necklace that Billy had given her into her Saturn, and then would leave the campus. 10 minutes later, she would be captured on an ATM security camera, withdrawing $280 from her bank account, leaving $16 there. She was clearly trying to empty her account in full. However, the machine only had 20s in it at the time, so she left the remainder there.
Thank you, Chris Phoenix, 25 stream streak. Big ups Dingus for giving out positive content while playing Kirby Air Riders and not having a egg for buddy. Right, dude? Feels good, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for the 25 stream streak. Appreciate it. I just do what I can, man. But if you have Switch 2, absolutely pick up Kirby. And also pick up Metroid next week. That guy's name is peeing at the moment. What? He's playing Wi-Fi from his toilet? Oh, he's gonna fuck up my connection, dude. These fucking Wi-Fi warriors, man.
On the surveillance footage, she did not appear agitated, nervous, or upset. She shows no signs of distress at all, and had it not been for her later disappearance, her emptying her account in this way wouldn't raise any eyebrows. Following her visit to the ATM, Mora would stop.
I would say if she did seem nervous or scared during the this ATM surveillance footage, that would exhibit signs of some sort of coercion, right? Like she's not alone. Maybe someone's off screen, like demanding her to take out money and shit. For her to be completely calm would show that she has some sort of resolution there, like she's got some sort of resolve. And that she's on her own, doing this of her own volition.
But a local liquor store, where she turned in 79 cans and bottles, redeeming $3.95.
Only $3 for 75 cans?
Wine, a bottle of Kahlua, a bottle of vodka, a nip of Bailey's, and a 12-pack of Smirnoff Ice.
Damn, and just went to town with the spirits, huh?
Mix. Police speculate that after picking up the alcohol, Maura then picked up duplicate copies of the accident report forms from the police station to send to her father. She then began to drive north towards the wilderness of New Hampshire. At 4:37, she called her dorm's voicemail for 4 minutes, but it's unclear what messages she listened to. At 5 p.m.,
Maybe
her cell
CB's in the
phone pinged off
bathroom.
of a
He's
tower
playing
within
docked
20
in the
miles of
bathroom.
Londonderry, New Hampshire.
There are rich people who have
TVs
TVs in their bathrooms.
This ping was likely
like whole
caused
ass
by a
flat
call
screens.
she did not answer. 2 hours later, Maura's black Saturn would become lodged in a snowbank in Woodsville, New Hampshire. How this occurred is still unknown.
Okay, so this is when she disappears. Remember, lies to her professors about where she's going, but still ties up the loose ends with her father with the previous car that she had wrecked. Ties up the loose ends with that. Ties up the loose ends with the scrubs that she meant to return. Arranges a printed email in her room, in her dorm room, in such a manner that your attention is drawn to it. There's no way you can ignore it. Atop the specifically stacked boxes placed in such a manner, it's like something that would draw your attention in a point-and-click adventure game. And then she empties her bank accounts, buys a bunch of Franzia wine, and crashes into a snowbank. This is the moment of truth. She's not seen again after this.
But the area was covered in fresh snowfall, and the roads were said to be extremely difficult to drive in due to the adverse weather. A nearby neighbor would report hearing a loud thump around 7 p.m., only to see the car facing west on the eastbound side of the road. The witness called 911 to report the accident, and claimed to see a man in the passenger seat of the vehicle smoking a cigarette. She didn't approach the vehicle or check on the
I don't believe there was anyone
but
else.
She was certain that the person in the car was a man and he was smoking. Her husband, however, felt different. He would state that he believed that the person inside the car was a woman, and
Husband's
that she was
right.
not smoking but was on her phone. He went further to state that the little red light on her flip phone looked like a cigarette, and that his wife was merely confused. But both parties are certain in what they believe that they saw. After reporting the crash to the police, an officer was immediately dispatched to the area. Another neighbor was said to have seen the accident. They claimed they saw the car a ways down the road with their emergency lights on, with someone walking around the vehicle. While both sets of neighbors observed the aftermath of the crash, Arthur Atwood, but also known as Butch, would pass by the scene. Seeing a young woman alone by the crash site, he would stop and offer some help. Atwood would state that she didn't appear injured, just cold and shaken up from the crash. He asked the young woman if she wanted him to call the police, but she told him not to bother as she already called AAA. This was a lie. Maura did not have any cell phone service due to how remote the area was. However, the tone of this conversation has been disputed. Atwood would state that Maura was shaken up from the crash but otherwise okay. She seemed fully in her right mind, and he didn't notice any serious injury or notice any signs of intoxication. But in the police's theorized version of events, they would state that Maura desperately pleaded with Atwood not to contact the authorities, as she was intimidated by the heavy-set man. Atwood then offered to let Maura wait at his home until help arrived, but she wanted to stay with the car. He then advised her to turn her lights on to avoid getting hit by.
I think her. I don't think there's anything. Well, there is something weird with her behavior. Well, I think her rejecting the help is deliberate and stalling a police response.
Vehicles coming around the bend. He then left the scene and drove 100 yards to his home. There, he too contacted the police, though he had a difficult time getting through due to the busy phone circuits. As he spoke to the police, he noticed a few cars had driven by, but his sense stated he didn't see or hear anything strange during that time. After Atwood drove away, Faith Westman, the initial witness, noticed the Saturn's interior lights switch on and off. It would seem that Maura attempted to heed Atwood's advice, but either thought better of it or was stopped. Faith would also state that she saw someone standing at the rear of the car, although she couldn't identify them. Another witness would come forward and state that she drove by the scene at around 7:37, only a few moments after Atwood would leave the scene. She claimed that she saw a police SUV parked in front of Murray's car. She claimed to have pulled over for a brief moment, pondering if it would be necessary to help. But as she didn't see anyone inside or outside of the vehicle, she ultimately decided to leave. This witness's testimony doesn't align with any of the other witnesses, nor does it align with the official police log. But this lone witness statement has been used in multiple theories as to what could have happened to Maura, so we felt it necessary to include. Between 7 to 9 minutes after Bush left the scene, Haverhill Police Sergeant Cecil Smith would arrive at the crash site. It had been nearly 20 minutes since the crash had been reported initially, but the car itself was locked, and Maura was nowhere to be seen. Sergeant Smith found a box of Franzia wine behind the driver's seat of the vehicle, and a red liquid on the driver's side door and the ceiling of the car. The box was damaged, likely in the accident, but there was evidence that Maura might have been drinking while driving. The car also contained Mora's AAA card, almost everything she had packed at the school, and directions she had printed out for Burlington and Stowe. It seemed that even as she was driving, she still had not decided where she wanted to go. Notably alongside her textbooks, the police found the book Not
I don't
Without
think she had a
Peril
destination
by Nicholas
in mind.
Howe in the car. The book is filled with stories about people who attempt to climb mountains before they are prepared, oftentimes succumbing to the elements. The only things missing were her debit card, credit cards, some of the alcohol she'd purchased, and her cell phone. The officer processed the scene the best he could, talking to all available witnesses, but no one seemed to know where Mora disappeared to. EMS and a fire truck were also dispatched to the area, but with no one to treat, they quickly dispersed. New Hampshire State Trooper John Monahan also stopped by the scene of the accident. It's not clear what time he arrived or if he'd been dispatched to the accident or if he stopped on his own accord. Cecil, obviously worried that there could be an injured woman wandering through the snow, spent the next few hours searching for Mora. Atwood aided in the search, but neither party found any sign of her. The scene, though strange, had no obvious signs of foul play, and by all appearances, it looked as if Mora had left of her own free will. The pair would end their search around 9:30 p.m., as he had to respond to another call. At this point, the officer theorized that, due to the alcohol found in the car, Mora had been drunk driving, got into an accident, and then fled the scene so that she wouldn't get into any further trouble. With no signs of foul play, and no one to be
This is reasonable to a point, but I got a different idea about it.
able to say if Mora had
It's
willingly left the
reasonable
scene
to a
or not,
point.
the police did not begin to search for the young woman. Instead, they towed her vehicle to a local lot, and would then wait to call her father, the title owner, until the next day around 3:20 p.m. They would leave a message telling him that his car was abandoned, but would say nothing of Mora. Fred had been working at the time, but would eventually be made aware of what had happened when Kathleen would call him at 5 p.m. that day. The car having been found without Mora immediately troubled him, and he would call the Haverhill police and insist that they begin searching for his daughter. Feeling as
And
though
they were
Mora
like,
was not truly
no.
missing, the police responded that
Yeah,
they could
she'll
start a
turn
search
up.
the following
She's
day
just being
if
a
Mora
drama
had not
queen.
been found at that point. Again, they believed that the young girl had been drinking and simply didn't want to face a drunk
She
driving
certainly was
charge.
being
In our
a
previous
thespian.
coverage of missing persons cases, we've discussed how vital the first 24 hours of the case is. The faster the police jump into action looking for a missing individual, the more likely it is that they'll be found safe. But in this case, no one was really looking for Mora until much later. Any crime scene evidence would have likely succumbed to the elements, meaning that there wouldn't be a way of piecing together where Mora had even run off to, or if she'd gone off by herself or had been taken in the few moments she was left alone. Mora went missing on February 9th, while the area was covered in snow. Visibility was not ideal, and she would have no idea where she was. If she left the scene willingly, it's entirely possible that she could have slipped into a ditch on the side of the road that was covered in snow, or injured herself and been unable to get help. If she had been abducted, either by her car or further down the road, there might have been evidence of that in the snow. However, by the time the search was well underway, it would have either been covered by more snow or melted away. However, Atwood might not have been the last person to see Mora. Between 8 and 9:30 p.m., a contractor who lived around 5 miles away from the crash site would see someone matching Mora's description moving quickly on foot going east on Route 112. This sighting was not reported to the police immediately, due to the witness's confusion about the fates. He would eventually go to the police 3 months after Mora's disappearance, but by then the trail was already cold. The next day, Fred Murray would arrive in Haverhill, determined to find his daughter. Almost immediately, he got the sense that the local police were botching the investigation. He asked them what they had done since finding the car, and almost all of the answers seemed ridiculous to him. Fred has repeatedly called for the police.
I'm sorry, you guys. We can't start the search until it's been 24 hours and your daughter's already dead.
Involved with his daughter's case to be investigated by the FBI, believing they mishandled the investigation and should be penalized for that. But as we stated, the officers had no reason to believe that something had happened to Mora based on the evidence, and there were only 4 officers on duty in the area, including the chief, available to aid in the investigation when it occurred. This is a very small town, and based entirely on what has been made available, the police's actions made sense. At 8 a.m., Fred, alongside the New Hampshire Fish and Game, began their official search. The police used a scent tracking dog, giving them a pair of gloves that were found in the car. The dog would follow the scent 100 yards east of the crash, where it's...
That's such a strange rule, but I understand it. Generally, it's like 24 hours in case that they come back. I fear it's like, especially if it's like an adult, it's at 24 hours they could just come back. Maybe they were somewhere else and they just didn't tell you. I think because there's a lot of resources you have to divert in order to go search for someone that you truly believe is missing, and not to just fucking around out and about. They just didn't tell you where they were going. Like in this case, I do understand why they resisted. And plus, there's only 4 officers in the county, apparently. So I get it, man. It's just 4 fucking dudes. They can only do so much.
Seemed to disappear. This suggested to police that Maura had walked away from her vehicle after the crash, only to get in another car 100 feet away. However, Fred would claim that Maura had never used gloves before, so her scent would not be as strong, and that the dogs had picked up a false scent. He claims that he begged the officers to use her running shoes, which she had used for years, but for some reason they refused. At the same time, Billy had gotten on a flight to come and aid in the search. He had turned his cell phone off, but later found a mysterious call had come in while he was in the air. The call reportedly sounded like a woman shivering and whimpering, as if she was very cold. Billy and his family would state that this woman was clearly Maura. Billy called his mom, frantic about the voicemail. He was sure it was Maura, and it sounded as if she was hurt. The number the call came from was traced to an AT&T calling card, which was notable, as Maura had gotten 2 calling cards from Billy's family that Thanksgiving. After an investigation, New Hampshire State Police traced the calling card to the American Red Cross. However, this lone phone call has been hotly debated. Sharon, Billy's mother, contended that the call could not have come from the Red Cross at all, and was untraceable. She also stated with certainty that it was Maura on the other end of the line. However, when the call was examined by the police, they claimed that the message was simply static. That same evening, Billy was interviewed and ruled out as a potential suspect, but with all the available information the police had been able to gather and the short investigation, they felt that Maura had driven to the area with either plans to run away or plans to kill herself. Fred was certain that this wasn't the case.
I would say the latter holds more weight than you might think, and I think the reason why the family don't believe this is probably because she wasn't so. The reason they have a tough time believing it is because when she was alive, she never really confessed what she was going through to them.
As Maura had not been troubled when he last saw her, and would go on to use this
Yeah, maybe she was
information as
concealing
evidence that the
her
police
feelings.
were not equipped to handle this case properly. However, the signs surrounding Maura's final days tell a more complicated story. It doesn't necessarily confirm suicidal intent, but does raise valid concerns about her mental and emotional stability at the time. There are certain behavioral patterns that psychologists frequently observe in people who are contemplating ending their own lives. One of the most common is the quiet process of closing out their responsibilities. This can include returning borrowed items, organizing personal belongings, or cleaning spaces that would otherwise cause their family distress later. It's an attempt in their distorted and overwhelmed mindset to make things easier for people they care about. Maura's behavior on the day she left campus has parallels to this pattern. Her dorm room, packed into boxes, looked like someone who anticipated being absent for an extended period. The call to a fellow nursing student to return borrowed scrubs fits the same template. These actions taken alone prove nothing, but within the broader context, they are consistent with an individual tying up loose ends in a quiet, methodical way. Another important element is Maura's documented history of struggling with an eating disorder, specifically disordered behaviors involving self-harm through food restriction or purging. Eating disorders are often less about body image and more about coping with emotional distress, control, and internal turmoil. They tend to co-occur with depression, anxiety, and overwhelming feelings of inadequacy, which can also lead to suicidal ideation. Add to the fact that she had just totaled her father's new car, something that both Billy and Fred confirmed left her shaken. She felt horrible about it, more than they stated was necessary. Though she hadn't been penalized by police for the accident, she might have thought that it would have hurt her credit card fraud case from being dismissed, or that her father was deeply disappointed in her. Whatever the case, the accident affected her negatively, and that unfortunately might have been the final straw. Fred's certainty that she wouldn't have done that comes from a place of love and disbelief. He loves Maura, and the idea that she would want to harm herself would feel insulting to her memory. However, that doesn't mean that it's not...
It's something that he doesn't want to believe because he's her father. But the reality of it may have been that she just wasn't clear with him on a lot of stuff. And of course, like I agree with the sentiment too. It's like perhaps he feels that such stinking because it's so grim, it's so macabre that he doesn't want to ruin his memory of her because she's no longer with them. So he doesn't want to believe that may have been what she was actually going through. Now, of course, we don't know for sure, but when you put all of that in perspective, it really does make you think that's like, man, for a long time, people weren't really, because people have been. I paid attention to this case over the years, the many years that I've been looking at stuff like this, true crime cases and whatnot. And I've seen other content creators put out like theory videos and schizophrenia armchair detective posting. And it seems like it was always going down a trend of like, this other person must have stopped. Like if you watch the theory crafting videos, it's always along the lines of someone else got involved in between the neighbors checking in, and it was this person that did it to her, or maybe one of the neighbors themselves is lying and they were behind it. It really took until this video for me to realize that it may have just been her.
A real possibility, and the police noting that they felt that Maura may be a danger to herself did not mean that they were ruling out other possibilities. A week after Maura went missing, Fred and Billy would be interviewed by CNN, and the search would be expanded into Vermont. Notably, the search was expanded by the family, not the police, and they stated that they were shocked to see that authorities in the surrounding areas had not been made aware of the missing persons case. 3 days later, the FBI would become involved in the search. This led to more aggressive efforts to find Maura, as they were able to utilize a helicopter with thermal imaging, tracking dogs, and cadaver dogs. But still, there were no signs of Maura anywhere. Her cell phone, credit, and debit cards had not been used since before the crash, and due to either her cell phone dying or poor coverage, her phone couldn't be tracked. Without any new leads, the official search efforts were reduced as time went on. However, Fred would not be deterred. He would return to the area every week, trying to find some evidence of his missing daughter. Fred and Julie would talk to anyone they could about the case, wanting to keep it in the public consciousness in the hopes that someone who knew something might come forward. That same year, a man would come forward and state that he believed that his brother had killed Maura. He gave Fred a rusty, stained knife and told the father that his brother had been acting strangely since her disappearance. However, family members of the man would state that he had a history of drug use and made up the claim in order to obtain the reward money. In 2005, Fred would petition the New Hampshire governor and the FBI to help with the case. He also appeared on the Montel Williams show to bring more attention to the search efforts.
You're more than welcome.
He would also file
if you want to drop your license, you can.
Suit against
I gotta
several
work on
law
mine.
enforcement agencies in order to gain access to the evidence in the case. Over the years, multiple independent
Sorry, I gotta pause the video. The beloved liker and subscriber. I don't know if everyone always starts out with the same tags, but that was one of the first ones I had. It's how you know the game was made in 2025, you guys. I like the soy mouthing Kabu. The fucking soy pogging Cappy. Pretty good. I like this one. Are you also a Lolo and Lala enjoyer? See, I felt like going in I was gonna main Cappy, but I ended up maining Lolo and Lala instead. The game gave you that title as random. Okay, so yeah, I also started out with that. Pick ups. It's pretty good. I gotta work on mine. Mine's is garbage. The only joke I have with mine is this: I got the alt color for Lolo and Lala, so I stuck like 2 Lolo and Lalas on top of each other, both the regular one and the alt color one, and then I flipped the alt color one, so I made it look like Lolo has a harem. But it's a work in progress. I'm gonna more funny jokes will be added to this in due time. But yeah, thanks for sharing your license. Yeah, it's the bitches. I don't even know what their relationship is supposed to be. Are they siblings? Are they just friends? Are they actually in a relationship? I haven't played their games though. I know about them. I just never played them.
agencies and private investigators have worked on the case, wanting to find out what happened to Maura. In 2006, a volunteer-led search
They're
took
lovers?
place within a few miles of the crash site, hoping to find any possible evidence.
Oh, good.
During
It's
the
not
search,
incest.
cadaver dogs reacted positively to the presence of human remains at an A-frame house in the area. This home belonged to the brother of the man who had given Fred the rusty knife 2 years prior. The property would not be searched until 2019, as the owners refused to allow Fred or police onto the property, and they weren't able to get a probable cause warrant.
Wow,
However, in
rude-ass property
2019,
owners.
They would sell the home, and the new owners would allow multiple searches, but no evidence was found. Mora's case and the lack of any direct evidence showing what happened to her has led to an entire community of interested parties popping up. Her disappearance has long been called the first crime mystery of the social media age, given how many...
Yeah, I first heard about this one years and years ago. There have been some real fucking schizos tied to this one. There was one schizophrenic dirtbag something or other. He was just obsessed with her and made all these creepy, like, before the time of ARGs, made like these weird videos of hyper fixated, wildly speculating and hyper fixating on her disappearance. And it was speculated for a time that he may have had something to do with her killing, but the police actually talked to him because it was so fucking creepy. People reported him, and apparently he had nothing to do with it. I think they took down his channel too, but archives of his creepy videos still exist. There was one that lives on in my memory, because I first saw it as a little dingus. It's like a video of this guy, this creepo, in his basement, and he uploaded the video on this missing lady's birthday. And the title is like, "Happy Birthday, Mora!" And it's him laughing uninterrupted for like a couple of minutes, and then at the end he just winks at the camera. And the lighting is so poor because of the quality of the camera, but he's in his basement, and it's one of the most unnerving things I've ever had the displeasure of watching.
Many websites, forums, and online discussions there are about her to this day. Because we cannot say for sure what happened either way, people who have come into contact with this case will come up with their own theories of what they believe happened and who is involved. In our time researching this case and trying to plainly compile the facts, we unfortunately stumbled upon multiple instances of people spreading blatant misinformation due to their own theory crafting. Though a vast majority of these individuals are trying to help, this has led to multiple people being unfairly implicated in a disappearance and potential homicide, and real-life harassment being sent to those related to the case. The depressing truth of this case is that, at the time of recording, there's no evidence as to what happened to Mora, and unfortunately, nothing is certain. There are various theories, from Mora having hurt herself or from her being on the run from the law due to a hit and run that happened in the same time frame. However, because we know nothing for certain, using our platform to push any theories feels unethical and strange, and goes against the wishes of her family.
It's not something that he tends to do
either.
either.
Multiple alleged sightings, but nothing concrete. On screen now is an aged progress photo, as found on the FBI's missing persons website. If you believe you've seen Mora or have any information about what happened to her, please come forward. Her family deserves closure, even if she's no longer alive. So if you've made it to this portion of the video, thank you for watching. This case was difficult to parse through, given how much speculation and theorizing has been entangled in the facts. But hopefully we were able to do it justice. If you found our coverage lacking in any way, you can let me know by either leaving a comment or emailing me at
yeah, let me in the comments if I didn't do enough research.
If there's a case you would like to see us cover or a story you want to bring more attention to, you can let me know via those avenues as well. Have a great day and remember, stay safe.
So, I agree with the theory, because when you put in the context everything that happened in the lead up to her disappearance, I think it was her emotional stability or lack thereof that made her. You have to consider what was going on with her tying up all the loose ends, getting the documents for the car, and turning in the scrubs. Because like if she wasn't of the mindset of like doing that, of like following through with promises and shit, she wouldn't have done that. And she wouldn't have turned the scrubs back in. She turned that shit back in because that would be the last opportunity she would have to do that. She goes to empty out her bank account, proceeds to buy all the Franzia wine, crashes in a snowbank. On the road to quite actually nowhere, she had no destination in mind. She couldn't decide where she actually wanted to go. But her destination in the end didn't matter. Crashes in a snowbank, rejects help from the neighbors, rejects help from the cops, is going through a rough time with the family. The sisters relapsed, went out of rehab, immediately relapses because of her fiance. And she's got her own troubles in the lead up to this. Everything that happened at the military academy, everything to do with her eating disorders. And I think when she told her professors and lied to them, allegedly, and said that she would be missing class and told her bosses she'd be missing work because of a death in the family, I think she was telling the truth. But it was foreshadowing for what would happen to her. I think she drank all that wine while driving out in that bad snowstorm weather, thinking that at some point she would just get so drunk she would just crash and die. When that didn't happen, and she survived the crash into the snowbank, she rejected help with the neighbors, waited until they went back into their home to call the police, and knowing that she had a slight window, it was like 9 minutes before the first trooper showed up, right? They said in the video, about 9 to 10 minutes she would have to get out of there before the first trooper showed up in response to the report. Knowing that the trooper was on the way, she exited the vehicle and headed into the snowy wilderness, where, in my opinion, that's where she met her end, because that was the whole purpose. There was no destination in mind. She left that evening intending to end it, and I think everything she did in the lead up to that makes sense. Having that email there in her dorm, just doing all that shit for her friends and family that she didn't need to do. Like, if she wasn't who she was, if that was someone else, she could have just offed herself on the spot without having, like, you know, getting the documents for the car for her dad, returning the scrubs that she would no longer use for her nursing shit. It really seemed like it was the result of the emotional stability, because, like, on its own, like, all of those things make sense. It's like, oh, she just turned the stirrups back in because she was just nice. It was just a good thing to do. It's the right thing to do, right? But put it in context with everything else that she was going through, it actually speaks to someone that kind of has, like, I said it earlier, has that resolve, like, knows what they want to do, and is just doing the right thing, and tying up all the loose ends before doing what she's gonna do. Like, when it got to that point of her doing all that shit, it was like she's kind of already made up her mind of what she's intending to do, and it doesn't want to be a hassle. She doesn't want to be a posthumous hassle to the people that knew her. She was anorexic. The boyfriend also cheated on her. The email, if I may remind you, the email alluded to the boyfriend cheating on her, which certainly must have contributed. So the thing with the wrecking her father's car, in my opinion, I agree with Dreading, that would be the straw that broke the camel's back and probably pushed her into doing what she did. So you look at all these theory crafting videos over the years that have been made about this case, and they always talk about, oh, it was probably one of the neighbors that was checking in on her. Maybe one of them was like a serial killer or something. Oh, there was like this bus driver that stopped by and talked to her. Maybe he did it. Oh, this serial killer was in the area around the same time. I don't think another person was involved. I think she had an intent of what was going to happen to her that evening. She was just going to drink so much and become so numb to it all that she would just drive into a snowbank, kill herself, and not even feel it. But when she survived, she had a split-second window to get out of there and finish herself off for good in the forest. And she got that when the neighbor walked back into his house to call the police, and she went for it. Was never seen again. What's the best schizo theory you believe, or one that could be possible? The one that I believed up until watching this video, which maybe completely flipped my script, because the thing is, like, Dreading does his fucking research. These other fucking creators that do the true crime videos, for the most part, are just slop tubers that read, like, the Wikipedia article or something. But Dreading actually looks at the... I didn't know she had that military upbringing. I didn't know she went to the academy. I didn't know that she got some... But she met with the board like 7 times over her breaking the code of ethics. I didn't know she had like the shoplifting shit. Any of that. Dreading does good shit with the research. His Chris Watts video. How many people have done videos on Chris Watts? I learned a lot of shit about Chris Watts' wife from watching Dreading's video, because it seemed like all the other videos don't actually talk about the wife or what she was doing or her afflictions. She was actually very, very ill, and I didn't fucking knew that because the JCS video sure didn't want to tell me about it. But no, Dreading does good stuff. But prior to watching Dreading cover the case, when I didn't know about her emotional instability, I thought it was possibly one of the people that stopped by to help her. Because these witness statements were like, oh, this person showed up and then tried to help and this, that, and then he left. And I thought it was a case of, okay, probably one of those guys is lying and they didn't actually leave when they said they left. They just stuck around and then kidnapped her. Because the car was there, so I'm thinking, okay, serial killer, crazy wacko sees an opportunity, young woman, 20s, sees a young woman in her 20s trapped, can't move the car out of the snowbank. They have their own vehicle. They offer to help her, invite her to get into their vehicle, and then they proceed to, kidnap her from there, and then she's just never seen again. That was a theory that I believed, because it's like, where the fuck do you go? Like, did she really just walk into the woods Mama JF style and then was never seen again? Apparently, that must have been what happened. But a very, very good video. A different take on the case from what it completely flipped the script on what I thought I knew about it. It rocked my worldview. I now believe that wrecking the dad's car was the straw that broke the final the final straw that broke the camel's back, and she was just done with that point. She was done with it, and she knew what she wanted to do. She had made up her mind and drove off into that good night with no attempt to come back. Anyway, let's check the daily wrap. Yes. Huge changes and 2 awesome streams. The daily wrap, November 25th, 2025. We need something to lighten the tension here. If it'll load.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Tuesday, the 25th of November, 2025. A pretty awesome and epic day, if I do say so myself. If you're wondering why my hair is all messed up, it's because I was wearing headphones playing Call of Duty. If you wonder why I'm wincing or do—
Thank you for the and check. Let me rewind a little bit. I don't want anything to cut in and interrupt them.
A pretty awesome and epic day, if I do say so myself. If you're wondering why my hair is all messed up, it's because I was wearing headphones playing Call of Duty. If you wonder why I'm wincing or doing something with my eye on this side of my head, it's because I have a headache. Maybe from playing Call of Duty.
Yes. Astro brought that up earlier.
So here's how today went. First off,
I have a headache, guys.
Of so many people coming and checking out my content.
Wings still locked in, right?
The Asmongold interview.
Monday?
I decided to start my stream early today and do a whole hour and 45-minute pre-stream
historical revision
hangout session with the new audience. Tons of people came. I mean, I had over like 500 viewers on YouTube. I had like over 100 plus viewers.
Yeah, you're already down to 390 tonight.
We talked about
what
how,
happened?
Because of the new positivity that's being thrown my way.
Let's
people are
abolish the goals.
Droves. In fact, as of right now, if you want to hear how insanely cool this is,
Emancipation Proclamation.
Holy moly. Wow, this is even crazier than I thought. Okay. Over 7,000 new subscribers in the last 24 hours.
Okay, but how are the videos doing? How are the views doing?
I'm doing these vlogs about positivity, like last night I did the daily wrap to talk about how positive the day was. That video had over 4,000 views. It might have 5,000 by now. Typically, just so you guys know, a vlog on this channel gets around 300 to 500 views. So the fact that the daily wrap pulled 5,000 is insane. Okay?
I wonder why people tuned in.
The positivity is amazing. Thumbs up all over the place. Engagement all over the place. I'm hoping it helps. We'll find out, right? But anyway, lots of people showed up. And what I basically told you guys in a nutshell, as long as people are actually showing up, engaging, and supporting my content, I don't need goals anymore. I don't need gimmicks anymore. I don't need to beg anymore. Seriously, I don't need to mention,
it never was begging. It's Schrodinger's beg.
Today. As long as people keep showing up and actually giving me that positivity, I don't need to talk about it. And if people found it so obnoxious that I was always begging and talking about goals.
What? In hindsight, it's begging, but before it was asking. It was asking, it was putting out the content and expecting reciprocation for the content that he's giving you for free, as if to imply that he does not have to give you the content for free, that if he could charge you for the content and paywall it, he could. But if he did that, then no one would watch. I like how little bit of the pre-stream I watched on Tevin's stream today. I like that he called it penny counting. Let's not count pennies anymore, guys. We don't have to count pennies anymore. We can just do what we want because we're grown, mature adults or whatever. So yesterday it was reciprocation. Today, in retrospect, in hindsight of what we were doing yesterday, it is now counting pennies. But if you told him prior to talking to Asmongold Gold that, hey, why are you just begging and counting for monies all why are you begging and counting pennies all stream? You would just get leaned on. But now that he's talked to Daddy Yasmin, you can just call it, oh yeah, we're just counting pennies. We don't have to do that anymore. His views have not gone up for the last 24 hours of uploads. 237 for Pokemon Part 8, 112 for Part 37. The cope is he doesn't care about individual gameplay videos. As long as the vlogs do well, that's all that matters.
Then let's start over. So today I hit the reset button.
Phase 2 DSP, thanks Asmon.
The goals counter from the stream. I
He's the new man.
The goal of $150 from each stream. I just said, let's go.
So why
First
the
stream,
fuck does everything in the setup look the
support.
same?
Second stream,
Phase
really
2,
good
by the way.
support. So didn't have to worry about it. And I actually today, I don't think once I asked for anything. Nor did we did a couple like celebrations because I said, hey, we great support. Let's do a celebration. Have the coins rain down or whatever. We did that a couple times. But for the most part, it wasn't needed. And everyone seemed to have a great time, okay? So after that initial hour and 45 minutes of us just hanging out and talking about the ideas for change, including, by the way, bringing back Expedition 33 so I could do all the Act 3 content that I skipped earlier in the year, but doing that maybe over the course of December. And also, for the upcoming marathon I'm doing on Friday for Black Friday, not having
just drink whenever you want.
Actual milestones.
What a reward!
Goals, but just
so you're just gonna do what every other streamer does when they do a drinking stream?
Some liquor I bought for the event, just drinking whenever I feel like it, instead of saying, "Oh, I hit $100 of support, time for a shot." Just do it.
You know, most streamers drink whenever they want and also do a shot for a certain amount.
So
usually they'll have like something they sip on, and then another drink that they do a shot of for an amount of money.
So. After that,
it's possible to do both, right? They're not mutually exclusive. You can do both. You can do it both ways.
We are almost done with the game. Okay? Even for Pokemon, we had probably double the attendance that I normally would have for a Pokemon stream, which is amazing. And I mean that both on YouTube and on Kick. Double the amount of viewers were here for it. That was awesome. Great engagement and support as always. And it looks like we're in the end game segment of the story. So when we play it again, because we are playing it again on Thanksgiving, which is Thursday here, likely we're going to beat the story.
I'm so thankful for the Pokemon update
because I don't know.
I'm so thankful for the Pokemon segment on Thanksgiving.
Okay, so great stream of Pokemon, amazing engagement, support. Everything was amazingly positive. Okay, tonight I played Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Different vibe for sure, because this is all action-based stuff. This is not me chilling and catching Pokemon and doing fights. This is constant running, attacking, all kinds of stuff. I did 2 builds. I did a melee build again, so again, I was using the knife a lot. But I also did a shoddy sniper build, but I swapped my sniper rifle out to the single-shot bolt action. Best sniper. It's so much better than the other one I was using, the Ion or whatever. It basically kills everything with one shot, but you have to be accurate. So had some fun swapping between the two, played a variety of maps, and then
I wish I could count 15,000 pennies at
home. Once again, attendance was high. I would say probably about double what I was pulling in previous when I was playing Call of Duty. Support, outstanding. So 0 complaints for me. Had an absolutely great time all day long.
As if to imply that he's prone to complaining and he's acknowledging
it. You guys were amazing, positive, and fun. So if you liked today, if you saw the gameplay today, you saw the streams, you're like, wow, Bill didn't beg at all. Bill didn't complain at all about anything.
Bill never begs. You said it was ass. Oh, so you do complain.
Basically, everything was positive and fun. That's what I'd like to bring to you forever. Like forever, till I decide to not.
So when you hear him say that, like that's what he wants to do, is he admitting that he failed in delivering that before? But before he said his content was always positive and meaningful. Now, like he grew up and matured. But now that Daddy Yasmin he's got the green light from Daddy Yasmin. Now we can just be frank about it and just acknowledge, oh yeah, like no, I do crash out sometimes and like I ban people and sieve and cope. Now, like this is what I'm saying. It's the same thing with like the penny counting shit that I mentioned. Like before, it was just reciprocation. Like you give the gameplay and then you get reciprocation. I'm not begging. I'm asking. I'm just asking. I won't get it unless I ask for it. But now that we have the green light from Daddy Yasmin, it's just okay to say that. Oh yeah, that really was begging. You guys were right. That was begging. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was begging actually. And now when he does a good stream today, ostensibly, because I didn't watch the gameplay. But he says it went good. So now that he delivers on good gameplay, he says something that leads me to believe Okay, so you genuinely believe that what you were doing before wasn't positive gameplay? I want to deliver that to you every day. So you failed in doing that before? Because that's what I hear from the way you word that, the way you say it, the way it comes out your mouth.
Anymore. Besides Call of Duty, I complain, when I play, but basically everything was positive and fun. That's what I'd like to bring to you forever.
Yeah, did he fail with that before?
Until I decide to not stream anymore when I'm probably like 90 years old. But please continue with the engagement. Please show up to these streams, which you are doing, and please support them, which you are doing. Okay? That is amazing. How awesome today went that I basically pulled a whole 180. Didn't have goals. Didn't have to beg at all. That was cool. I am still shouting out contributions. So if you contribute, I still give you a shout out. I still talk to you. I
like how he has to have that caveat there because he thinks someone is actually going to be so upset about him counting these pennies that they'll look at him just giving a regular shout out and still count that as a beg. Does the beg counter guy count a shout out as a beg? What is stipulations here?
Put you on the leaderboard as the top contributor, okay? The one thing I did keep around was the King's Tax. All that is the running tally of support I've got for the stream. You might say, well, why didn't you get rid of that? Well, right now, I just want to use it to gauge how I'm doing. Because if I don't have a running tally of how I'm doing, then I don't actually know how well I'm doing. And, I don't want to have a string of streams where maybe I'm actually not doing well and I didn't know that. I want to be aware of it. So for now, we're keeping it, but maybe we'll get rid of it eventually.
Maybe we will get rid of the tracker.
There's enough consistency in the attendance, engagement, and support I'm getting.
Give me $3,000 every day. I might get rid of the King's Tax goal.
And that's it. We're done. Okay? All right. So here's the deal for tomorrow. Another full day of gameplay, but there is a podcast in the morning. So check out the Level 1 podcast.
Yeah, why can't he just write it to himself? It's so important.
11:30 a.m.
He needs a video to document it for him.
And it usually runs about an hour and a
half. I wonder what I made on October 23rd, 2023.
Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Let me pull up the stream from then.
Continuing. We're actually in World 6
Can't find it because he doesn't archive his shit correctly.
Oh well. Looking forward to more tomorrow.
Guess I'll pull up the Raw Phil stream for that day.
Tomorrow night is the continuation of Tormented Souls 2 on the late stream. Now, tomorrow there will also be another DSP Tries It, and you might be like, you just did one yesterday, 5 guys. Yeah, well, remember, the way we were running it is every 10 goals of support hit, I was doing a DSP Tries It. So technically, I owe the audience this. But after that, I said, now we're just going to do DSP Tries It when we want. So, for example, next week, I know for a fact there's a new collaborative meal at Burger King that's SpongeBob. We'll just do that for fun. We're not tracking goals. We're not going to do it every 10 goals hit like I used to. Instead,
does he not owe 3 DSP Tries-Its?
Okay, so tomorrow I will be doing the 5 Nights at Freddy's Popeyes.
You owe that because you owe it.
That will be a DSP Tries It that will happen at the end of the first stream. And then after that, we're just going to casually do DSP Tries It when we see fit moving forward. It might not even always be food. We can just brainstorm ideas. Okay? All right. So thank you for an amazing, positive, well-engaged, well-supported day. I hope that you all enjoy the content overnight. See you tomorrow for the Level 1 podcast, Super Mario Galaxy 2, and Tormented Souls 2. Good night, everyone. See you then. Peace out.
Christ almighty, information overload. But that was Phil with the news. Let's watch this video that Ann sent. Need them along with a positive streamer gimmick. It's entirely dependent on how willing Asmongold's audience is to organically engage with the content. It's actually up to Asmongold's stance to decide when they've had enough. It's about the Yuba County 5 from the Bedtime Stories channel, The Road to Oralville. So there's apparently an update in the case that happened about 4 weeks ago. I do know about this case. It's about 5 reguards who went missing in a winter tundra. Now, be a little fearful, guys. He is British. We're listening to a British man.
On the evening of the 24th of February 1978, 5 friends from Northern California set off to watch a basketball game. They never returned. Months later, 4 of them were discovered dead in the remote wilderness of the Plumas National Forest, 70 miles from their intended destination. The 5th man has never been found, alive or dead. The disappearance of the men from Yuba County is a case we have explored before. However, in the years since, Bedtime Stories has become aware of previously unavailable information that sheds an entirely different light on this infamous story.
Because Freedom
Thanks to the work
Information
of one
Act.
diligent investigative writer who graciously agreed to collaborate on this, we may finally be ready to revisit the tragedy of the Yuba County Five.
Aliens, ghosts, cryptids, and strange deaths, mysteries, dinguses. True, wow, this fucking channel has it all, doesn't it? Wow, what an epic fucking intro, man.
Before we begin, we must acknowledge the work of author Tony Wright. In early 2024, after years of research and first-hand interviews, Tony published Things Aren't Right: The Disappearance of the Yuba County Five. His book provides the foundation for this continuation, and Tony himself has very kindly wrote this episode. If you wish to explore the case in greater detail, you can find a link to Tony's book in the description. In investigating this case, Tony examined police files, testimony, and family memories to produce the most comprehensive account to date. His work has not only uncovered new insights, but has also challenged many long-standing misconceptions about the men at the heart of this story. For too long, the disappearance of the Yuba County Five has been framed around their supposed disabilities, with the men often dismissed as helpless or childlike. This characterization is misleading. Each of them had strengths, routines, and personalities that their families knew well. They were socially awkward at times, but they were not the dimwits some commentators have since cruelly labeled them as.
They were high functioning.
They were capable adults with fulfilling lives, whose routines and bonds of friendship mattered deeply to them. Understanding that.
Hey, Phil told us this week that autistic people can be very productive members of society. Now, I didn't need him to tell me that. I knew that from the start.
This is crucial. It reshapes how we view not only the men themselves, but also the assumptions that have shaded this case for decades. To appreciate why the narrative of vulnerability and incapacity has lingered so strongly, we must return to the events of the 24th of February 1978, and to the men at the center of this enduring mystery.
Jeez, that was so long
In the unlikely
ago.
event that you have not heard this story before, we will provide a brief recap of what happened. However, we strongly recommend going back and listening to our original episode on the case for a fuller account.
Well,
The
Suffer,
five men at the
I'm
heart
not
of
going
this
to do
case
that.
were Ted Weir, age 32,
So I hope it's a good
Jack
summary.
Hewitt, 24, Bill Sterling, 29, Jack Madruga,
Hey, Goki.
30, and Gary Mathias, 25.
Alright, so here are our fucking heroes, the high-functioning autistic five. These are very productive members of society, and they all just wanted to go watch basketball. I think the one in the middle is me. That's the absolute unit right there. I wish I had an afro that curly. I don't
All
have any
connected
afro.
through a non-profit program called Gateway Projects, which provided employment, coaching, and support for those living with developmental or psychiatric challenges. Many pointed to their involvement with Gateway
Which one
as
is
proof
Anne?
that these men were slow, or to use the terminology of the time, mentally retarded.
Huh? What? It was a different time.
Slow, or to use the terminology of the time, mentally retarded.
Anna's number 4. That's the one I'd say too. But at the same time, I'm kind of only saying it because he kind of looks like Ian Mouse Chong. Doesn't he have like Ian Mouse Chong, but if he's skinny energy?
This portrayal was deeply unfair. In modern terms, most of the group would likely have been recognized as being on the autism spectrum, with traits consistent with what we now call Asperger's. They were not
Aspergs.
unintelligent, nor incapable. The only one with a diagnosed psychiatric illness was Gary Mathias, who had schizophrenia.
Wait, no! No. The one Anne said was him for real is the schizo?
The only one with a diagnosed psychiatric illness was Gary Mathias, who had schizophrenia. Yet even in his case, family members said he had been stable for 2 years thanks to treatment and medication.
He took his meds!
The five shared a strong bond through basketball.
We fucking won!
They played for Gateway's team, the Gators, and were due to compete in a big tournament on the morning of the 25th of February, 1978.
Gentlemen!
The night before, on the 24th, they drove Jack Madruga's 1969 Mercury Montego north from Yuba City.
Dude, the middle one looks like the guys you see in all the NTR Dujins.
To Chico to watch UC Davis take on Chico State. The journey was about 50 miles, and they cheered enthusiastically as UC Davis secured the win. What happened on the drive home remains the central mystery. Instead of following the main route south, the men somehow ended up far off course. At some point near Oroville, the Montego left the highway and climbed several thousand feet into the Plumas National Forest. It was winter, the road snowbound, and none of the men were dressed for such conditions. When Madruga's car became stuck in drifts of snow on a remote forestry track, the group were stranded. What followed is pieced together only from fragments. One man, Joseph Shones, later reported that on the same night,
I'm doing great,
he too had
asking.
become stuck in the snow just a short distance up the road. He claimed to have seen or heard people outside during the night, though his recollections changed with retelling. Beyond that, we can only infer. What is known is stark. The Montego was located not long after the search began, abandoned on a remote mountain road with a quarter tank of fuel, food, and maps still inside. But of the men themselves, there was no sign. It wasn't until June, many months later, that motorcyclists stumbled across a Forest Service trailer 15 miles from the car.
Yeah, one of the five made it to this trailer and was kind of hanging out there for a long while before he headed out. I forget why. He'll mention it.
Inside was Ted Weir. He had succumbed to the cold and starvation after weeks of survival, losing nearly...
Oh, I remember why. The rationale was there were supplies in the trailer, but the rationale was they had figured due to his autism, or rather his Asperger's, they figured he was so scared of getting in trouble if he ate the food in the trailer that wasn't his, that he would get in trouble. Like, so he just didn't eat it, even though his body needed it to survive. He needed sustenance to survive out there in the wilderness. The food was not his, so he did not eat it.
Nearly 80 pounds in body weight. Tragically, survival rations and heat sources, which might otherwise have saved his life, had been left unused in the trailer. Over the following days, the skeletal remains of Sterling, Madruga, and Hewitt were located in the woods nearby. Only Gary Mathias was never recovered.
The one that Ann said
the trailer,
was him.
But no trace of his body has ever been located. Decades later, the questions are as haunting as ever.
Ann was never found because he became a VTuber. Ah, he was
abandon the car when the road would have been the surest path back to safety? Why did Weir fail to make use of the supplies that could have kept him alive? And above all, what became of Gary Mathias? The facts in this case ceased to add up the moment their car turned onto that mountain road.
They probably got lost.
From that decision onwards, every answer only seems to open the door to more unsettling questions. When we strip this case down to its bare bones, one name comes up again and again: Joseph Shones. As the person who claims to have last seen the men alive, and the only one confirmed to have been on that mountain at the same time, almost every timeline, theory, and official record hinges on his testimony. But before Tony Wright,
what if
few
he
people seemed to show much
lied?
interest in who Joseph Shones was, and more importantly, how he might play into the mystery. Shones was 55 years old in 1978. He was a local of Berry Creek, a small community located around the Oroville-Quincy Highway, and few people who lived there had many good things to say about him. Most described him as abrasive, even something of a bully. He was a heavy drinker and had a reputation for being quarrelsome in public. This is significant for several reasons, but mainly because when the Yuba County
He'd have a
5
short
went
fuse with
missing,
autistic people.
residents of the Berry Creek area were shocked to find that the authorities were trusting Shones of all people. But the truth is that they had no other choice, and neither do we. So let's take a look at the events of the 24th of February from his point of view. That afternoon, Shones had stopped at the Mountain House Lodge, a weathered bar and rest stop perched on the edge of the Plumas. Staff recalled him drinking beers around 5 o'clock, after which he left and began to drive up towards the snow line.
He's drinking gin?
At least one employee found this odd, as he was not only travelling away from Berry Creek, but that Northern Pass was notorious for trapping cars for hours. According to Shones, whilst driving up the snowy incline, his Volkswagen Beetle veered off the track into
Probably
deep
just telling
snow.
that he ate vanilla pudding in nuggies.
As he struggled to push the car free, he claimed to have suffered a heart attack. Weak and gasping, he crawled back into his car, turned the engine over for warmth, and waited. Hours slipped by. Then, around midnight, he saw headlights and watched another car come to a stop about 100 yards behind him. It was a Mercury Montego, the same model later confirmed as Jack Madruga's car. What happened next? Well, that depends on which of Shones's many versions you believe. In his first retellings, he described seeing 5 figures climb out of the car, pause, and then retreat into the forest without a word. In later accounts, Shones claims he saw a red pickup truck trailing the men, driven by a man with a woman and a baby inside.
Oh, he made that shit up.
Sometimes he claimed to see the 5 jump into the bed of that truck. Other times they simply melted into the darkness. Whatever the case, he says he tried calling out for help, only to be ignored entirely. By dawn the next morning, Shones had run out of fuel and was on the verge of freezing, so he began the 8-mile walk back down the highway towards Mountain House. He would later say that he took a moment to investigate the Montego upon passing it, hoping that he might use it as a place to rest. But upon looking at the objects in the back, which included either baby toys or clothes, he decided to just keep walking. Either way, for a man who had just suffered a heart attack, walking this distance should have been impossible. But after hours of what he described as torturous progress, he arrived at Mountain House. Employees say he entered the lodge, ordered water and aspirin, and began talking. However, he said nothing about being stranded in the mountains, nothing about his Beetle getting stuck in the snow, nothing about having a heart attack, and nothing about seeing 5 strangers in the night. At least one witness claimed he repeated the phrase, "I should have done this 2 years ago," several times, which he found odd.
What did he mean by that?
For a man who should have been in urgent need of medical attention, his behavior makes little sense. After a few minutes, a couple at the bar offered him a lift home to Berry Creek. Along the way, they say he complained constantly about the man's driving, which would again seem unusual for someone who had nearly died on a frozen highway just a few hours earlier. Back home, Shones told his wife, Cindy, about his ordeal. Though we can't verify what he said, we know that instead of rushing him to the hospital, Cindy focused on recovering his Beetle. With a local man's help, she returned to the mountains where they found Joseph's car. As he had claimed, the battery was dead and the fuel tank was empty. But more importantly, they saw another vehicle abandoned nearby, the Mercury Montego. It wasn't until the following day that Joseph was taken to the hospital. But here, we once again run into verification problems. Namely, the fact that the medical records of his stay seem to have disappeared. Cindy would also claim that he was inconsolable and unable to talk about what had happened the night before without breaking down. Once more, this seems to run contrary to his behaviour in the bar the previous morning, where he appeared completely unshaken. It was only in the ensuing weeks that Shones inserted himself into the narrative surrounding the missing men. He gave interviews to law enforcement, newspapers, and even the worried families. However, it seemed that this story changed depending on the day and with whom he was talking. Sometimes he mentioned drinking only a beer or two, other times 6 or more. Sometimes there was a truck with a man, woman and baby, and sometimes there wasn't. To police, he hinted that the men may have been abducted. To journalists, he suggested that they had simply ignored him. And yet he remained the only witness who could place them on that road. The contradictions led many to doubt him.
Spooky.
Some thought he might be angling for the $10,000 reward, adjusted for inflation, the families had offered for information. Others wrote him off as lonely, embellishing or even fabricating stories to gain attention. But there is also the possibility that he was hiding something darker. He had a reputation for throwing his weight around, drinking too much, and acting unpredictably. Some wondered if he had perhaps crossed paths with the 5 men and played at least some role in their decision to leave their car that evening. Because even to this day, the idea that the men would abandon the shelter of the car leaves people baffled.
Well, again, they're not the brightest tools in the shed.
It could have idled for anywhere from 5 to 8 hours on a quarter tank of fuel, long enough to keep them warm through the night. The only way the men, 2 of whom had military training, would leave that relative security would be if it was not safe on that road for some reason. This has led many to focus on the sometimes there, sometimes not factor in Shones' story. The red truck. If this part of his tale is genuine, then there were others present that night. As to what role, if any, they played in the men's disappearance,
he made the red truck up. There is no fucking red truck.
Recollections of Joseph Shones.
Prove me wrong.
For nearly half a century, the case of the Yuba County 5 has generated theories, some tame, some bizarre. The problem is that few, if any, can satisfy the 4 key mysteries at the heart of the story. Why did they turn up that road instead of going home? Why did they leave the car after getting stuck? Why did one or more of them live for several weeks or possibly even months in a trailer filled with food and provisions, and never once attempted to seek help? Lastly, what became of Gary Mathias? Many agree that it's possible the men were chased up the mountain road. If they were hiding from someone, it would explain why they abandoned the car and why they chose to stay in the trailer. But who was chasing them, and why? Previously mentioned theories about potential altercations after the basketball game can somewhat be dismissed. They would almost certainly not have stopped at the convenience store for snacks if someone was pursuing them, and they would have likely not driven the 23 miles to Oroville before deciding to make a run for the mountains. If they needed help, the city would have been the best place to find it. But what if the altercation took place in Oroville? Mathias had friends there, so it might have been a potential stop. And since the men were adults in good spirits, it's not impossible to imagine them stopping somewhere else along their route. This matters because, back then, the town was considered quite rough around the edges, with a reputation for drunken fights and unsavory company. With their perceived disabilities and awkward social skills, the men would, unfortunately, have been prime targets for locals looking to cause trouble. Some have suggested that Madruga and his friends could have been harassed, mocked, and chased away.
Why did DSP spend $250,000 in WWE Champions? To own the A-Logs, of course.
In that scenario,
So where the
driving
alien
into
showed
the
up?
Pumas may have
There's
been
no
a desperate
alien in this
attempt to
story.
shake pursuers. This might also explain
Wait, one
why there
sec.
was an open California road map found in the back seat. Had the men been looking for a way off the road before getting stuck? If they had been chased, this would also explain why they would have abandoned their car, as it would have instantly been spotted by their pursuers. For those who think it unlikely that the men would have been targeted so randomly, there is another version of this theory. It focuses on Gary Mathias, the only person who was never found. Some Oroville residents claim that Gary had clashed with some locals in recent months, even getting into a fight with an unknown man at a party. There are also stories indicating he had a confrontation with a man named Farron Delosier, who just so happened to be married to Jack Hewitt's sister. Could someone with a grudge against Mathias have spotted him and forced the group up the mountain road? Many argue that it seems more plausible than a complete stranger doing the same. In our first episode, we mentioned how in 2017, a person claiming to be Hewitt's sister-in-law came forward to state that Mathias had been attacked and thrown off a bridge, causing his friends to panic and flee for their lives. This could theoretically
explain why they never found his
Mathias
body.
was never found.
Ah,
And
yeah.
there is
Speaking
indeed
of
a
devil.
large bridge, the Bidwell Bar Bridge, at the entrance to the highway. This could be further supported by the fact that some claim shell casings were found at the entrance to the mountain pass. If someone had shot at the men, they would have been well justified in driving further into danger. It sounds like a long shot, but the fact that a couple of Jack Hewitt's extended family members seem to be involved raises a lot of questions.
Hey, Pim Pim, how's the Kirby grind? It's going alright.
Others point to a
Be a
similar
shorter stream
occurrence,
tonight.
only this time the suspect is a town bully, mentioned by Gary's family.
Had a long work day today, so...
In the
so a
1990s,
few
rumours even circulated that
cheapo
this man had
grinding to
confessed
unwind
during a
seems,
church
perfect
service
for
to
tonight.
leading a group of
Welcome in.
disabled men to their deaths. No direct witness ever came forward to substantiate the story, but it fed into the idea that someone in the community knew more than they were letting on.
It was an inside
It's
job,
possible that this
a
has to do with
conspiracy
yet another
to
frequently
get rid
overlooked facet
of the 5
story.
regards.
The fact that Gateway Projects, the local program that supported people with disabilities, had been the subject of targeted harassment for years. Between 1975 and 1976, a local who was never identified set off a spate of arson attacks on Gateway facilities, even setting several cars alight. The most shocking incident came on the 6th of April 1975, when Gateway's director, Donald Garrett, answered a knock at his apartment door and was doused in fluid before being set ablaze. He died almost instantly. The crime was never solved, though rumours swirled about jealous lovers, grudges and feuds. It's been theorised that one or more members of the Yuba County Five may have known something about the arsonist's identity. If true, then their disappearance could have been an attempt to silence them permanently.
Big
Some
if true.
researchers have discovered a possible suspect for the arsons and murder of Donald Garrett, but no name has yet been disclosed. Of course, this wouldn't be bedtime stories if we didn't consider at least one possibility involving the paranormal. And when we revisit the details of this case, there is one particular police report that stands out as curious. It records a witness, Janet Kathleen Enzera, who told investigators that Gary Mathias had confided in her more than once about a recurring dream.
There's so many speculations that it's all unbelievable.
In it,
It's because we don't really
he
have
claimed
anything to
that he
work
and
with
several
other than this
others
one
would
witness
day
who's not
vanish,
reliable.
taken away alongside strange lights and people from outer space. At the time, her statement was dismissed as irrelevant. They simply depicted the ramblings of a man
like
known
that
to
because
suffer
she's
from
a woman.
psychiatric illness. But placed alongside what happened to the men, it becomes harder to ignore. What if Gary's nightmare was not delusion, but premonition?
Whoa!
What if his illness
Praise that
allowed him
sun
to somehow
raid.
tap into a higher plane?
Big ups, Praise That Sun. Thank you for the raid. During this, what's likely going to be a short stream. Thank you, Praise That Sun, for the raid with the party one. Hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank you for chilling with me. Choosing to chill. Hashtag chill with me. We're watching a recommended video by the illustrious Ann1337 on the Yuba County 5. A gaggle of 5 dented and demented fellas who found himself lost in the wintry woods. But why? The mystery. It's still unsolved to this day.
Of consciousness.
Yeah, short stream. I've had a long day clocked in, so I just want to kick back, relax, and unwind. Then catch up on my sleep schedule, and I got the day off. Like 1 day off, guys. Days off tomorrow, so you know, I just want to see if I can do like a longer stream tomorrow. So I won't have I want to have work up my ass. Hey, Catsper. The Dented and Demented sounds like a fun name for a show or band or something. Yeah, it would. Sadly, I took it from PvP, like wholesale. Hey, Kamui. What's up, though? Oh, I'm doing it. I'm zonked. I started the stream zonked. So it's one of those nights. Long shift, and I'm feeling it now. I'm really feeling it.
Night of the 24th of February 1978, something far stranger really did occur on that lonely mountain road. There have been many accounts both in America and elsewhere of vehicles pursued by unidentified flying objects.
Thankfully not back in work till Friday afternoon. I got Wednesday, of course, Thanksgiving, Saturday and Sunday off, so that's great. Hey, we couldn't do Friday. We still gotta talk to grandmas on Friday. And it's like, fucking why? I wanna go shop for stuff, you guys.
Drivers report being followed for miles by glowing lights in the sky, sometimes experiencing engine trouble, strange interference, or overwhelming dread. The Oroville-Quincy Highway, which the men travelled that night, would have been almost deserted at that hour. Outside of the town limits, there were no streetlights, no traffic, and no houses for long stretches, only blackness on either side of the road. In such an isolated setting, an encounter with something unusual could have been terrifying. If a light or object descended upon the car, it...
Dingus has his Black Friday buy list ready to go. I wish. I just want a desk. I just want a desk. Is it too hot to ask for, bitch? I just want a desk, motherfucker. What do you think about that?
Might explain why the men suddenly left the main highway and drove up into the Sierra foothills. Turning onto a remote Forest Service road, rarely used by the public, may have been a desperate attempt to escape whatever was following them. The men might have witnessed something extraordinary, something so disturbing that it sent them scattering into the forest. If Gary Mathias had indeed been taken in full view of his friends, the panic that followed could explain why they fled blindly into the freezing wilderness. Their decision to leave the road and the car might not have been a rational choice at all, but a reaction to sheer terror. It is, of course, a far-fetched idea, and most would say an unlikely one. The more plausible explanation is that some very human element, whether foul play, misdirection, or tragic confusion, forced the men off the highway that night and up into the mountains, where events spiraled beyond their control. Which brings us back to Joseph Shones. Many agree that his story is too rife with inconsistencies to be worthwhile. The most interesting part of his tale is not seeing the men, but the possible existence of a red pickup truck on the mountain that night. Was it the pursuers, or were they some locals who attempted to help the stranded men? If it was the latter, and the men did climb into the truck bed, why didn't whoever was driving the truck also help Shones? And how did Weir, if ostensibly rescued, come to spend weeks or even months at a Forest Service trailer? One of the most curious aspects relating to the red truck is Shones' statement that he saw either baby clothes or baby toys in Madruga's car on the morning he headed back down to the lodge. The police reports mention no such items, but since the Montego was not found until the 28th, there would have been plenty of time for someone to come back and retrieve them. Admittedly, Shones' infrequent insistence that there was a woman with a baby in the truck is odd, and would seem to indicate an innocent family stopping to render aid to the men.
That's just what they want you to think.
If this was the case, why have they never come forward to tell their side of the story? What seems most consistent about Shones' accounts is that he is not a reliable witness. The tale of the heart attack, when coupled with his subsequent 8-mile walk through freezing conditions, does seem far-fetched. With a $10,000 reward in place for those who provided information about the missing men, it seems entirely possible that Shones and even his wife fabricated the entire story.
You think someone would just do that? Go on the internet and tell lies?
His appearance at the bar that morning indicates that he was on the mountain the previous night, for one reason or another. This leads us to one final, darker possibility. To consider it properly, we need to reiterate just how isolated the road was where the Mercury Montego was discovered. Today it carries a layer of asphalt, complete with road markings, and is relatively easy to travel. But in 1978, it was little more than a narrow Forest Service track, rough, remote, and seldom used by the public. With that in mind, we are left to ask, just what are the odds of a shady character like Joseph Shones being on that very road on that very night, when
Probably
one of the most
good.
enduring mysteries in US history occurred?
You got one of the.
Thieves often use staged distress like broken down cars in order to take advantage of unsuspecting victims. Perhaps Shones had agreed to partake in such a ruse, pretending to have car trouble whilst waiting for someone to come by and render aid. Maybe the people in the red truck flagged the men down near Oroville, claiming that their friend or family member had gotten stuck on the mountain road and needed 5 strong men to help push their car out. A child in the car would certainly be disarming and give the impression of safety. When they arrived at the Volkswagen Beetle, Shones, the people in the truck, or all of them, could have robbed the men at gunpoint. But what if something went wrong? What if Matthias fought back and was killed, sending the other men running into the woods? Worried that they might return and report the incident to the police, the family and Shones might have waited in their vehicles, giving them time to clean up the scene. And maybe, when the men didn't show up the next day, the
Now, to be fair, I know you're gonna A-log it because it's not really a documentary going over everything so much as theory crafting. It's the exact kind of videos I was making fun of while reacting to the last video. But, Anne sent it, so it can't be a bad video.
thieves took the keys from the car, split the money, what little of it there was, and went their separate ways.
Hey, I didn't already have
convinced
checkpoints?
that the wilderness would
There you
deal
go.
with their victims, which, unfortunately, it did. It is thought that only Weir had managed to make it to shelter, but he was in no shape to seek help.
Anne, you make
He
me
lived for
angry,
weeks on what
Anne.
food he could find, but eventually succumbed to the elements. As for Shones, the morning after the robbery, he realized that his car wouldn't start for real, forcing him to travel back down to the lodge. When the investigation began, he knew that employees would be able to place him on the mountain that night, and he concocted the whole heart attack story as a cover. This chain of events, while speculative, does tie together many of the loose ends.
Gonna call it a night. Take care, Dingus. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your
explains nearly
family. Thank you so
everything.
much, Shobala. From me and mine to you and yours, happy Thanksgiving. If I don't see you again until the next stream. I think at this point, I will stream tomorrow and Thanksgiving after I get done with stuff with the extended familia, and probably not Friday. But I think due to me getting Saturday off for once, Could probably do a longer than usual Saturday stream before Anime Night on Saturday. And I believe Ann starts his 24-hour stream on Sunday evening. Perfect time, perfect timing. But yeah, take it easy, Joe Blanc.
About that night.
Here's hoping you have a great Thanksgiving.
The people in the red truck never came forward.
Get you some good
and
deals
why Tony
Friday.
Sometimes appears in the story. Shones may have been having trouble separating fact from fiction, and once he slipped up about the truck, he had to weave it into the overarching story. Unfortunately, Shones has long since passed away and took the truth of those events with him. The Yuba County Five did not simply vanish. They travelled up a road they had no business driving on, where they abandoned a perfectly good car for a perilous 15-mile trek in deep snow. Why? That's the question that has hung bleeding in the air for nearly 50 years. Fortunately, Tony Wright's book and the work of other independent researchers have brought fresh attention to long overlooked details, particularly the shifting testimony of one Joseph Shones. For the families of Ted Weir, Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, Jackie Hewitt and Gary Mathias, this offers a measure of comfort that one day, the truth of what happened on that frozen February night might finally come to light. Decades later, the fate of the Yuba County Five continues to haunt the silence of the Plumas National Forest. The tragedy lies not only in their loss, but in the unanswered questions that still surround their final journey. Until those mysteries are resolved, their story endures. A reminder of lives cut far too short, of five friends who set out together but never returned home. May they rest.
All they wanted to do was watch some fucking
peace.
basketball, man. All they wanted to do was watch some fucking basketball! Why does life gotta be so hard for the dented and demented? Hey, random marks. Thank you, Anne, for the video redeem. This case, just like the Maura Murray case, is also another one that's just stuck with me. Now, unlike the Maura Murray case, where I am surprised as to how we don't have updates on it, this one, I'm not as surprised, because there's literally only one witness, and now that witness is dead. In my opinion, I don't think we'll ever find out what really, truly, actually, for real happened. Some of those theories I don't agree with. I think they're a bit silly. It could just be as Occam's razor, just as simple as they thought they were hot sauce. They thought they were hot sauce and then realized, well, I don't know where I'm going with this. This is how you know I'm zonked. Blame Dingus? You can't blame me. Oh wait, this is what I was going for. They thought they were hot sauce, and then they got lost in the woods, and they couldn't find their way out. But Ivan says, how you doing, Dingus? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Watching this video that Ann sent me, but it's now over. Don't you dare ASMR in my ear without my permission. Fuck you. No, really, I mean it. I did unlock Marks just now, Ivan. There he is. It's the guy. I was doing Chivo hunting in Top Ride and a little bit of Air Ride as well. Though I had a long work day and I'm kind of feeling the effects of it now. So I might just call it early for the night. But thankfully I got the day off tomorrow, so hopefully I can give you guys a longer stream tomorrow. Maybe take a break from Kirby and do something else. No! I hit B while flying over the ravine there. God damn it, Marks. They thought they were hot sauce, but they were really lost in the sauce. Oh my god. Damn. That's so good. Why didn't I think of that? Fuck! That's so good. Oh my god, that is so perfect. Alright, let's do one more. There's supposed to be a Chivo for winning with the random, right? Yeah, I'll probably do something that's not Kirby tomorrow and make that a longer than usual stream. Probably still watching videos and catching up on the playlist. Thursday, I will be doing Extended Familia stuff, but I want to finish up the other route of Alone in the Dark that I didn't play. It'll be topical because that game has Native Americans in it. But we're gonna do Alone in the Dark and play as the lady instead of the guy. The lady has her own story, and it will surely be just as fun to play through. Maybe. Perhaps. And it'll probably come back to Kirby on Saturday. In the lead up to the Extra Life 24-hour Metroid Prime 4 Madness Marathon. Probably gonna use tomorrow to make up the overlay for that. I need to ask Serio if he's got like a Samus helmet or something. Some sort of prop for the Shy Lady. I'm sure he can take something from like that website that hosts all the models. Give me like a Samus helmet from, what do they call it? Street Pass Plaza? Remember Street Pass? Oh, I got a Chivo. I'm raking them in. Did that hit anybody? Yeah, we got some hits out of that. Oh, I was supposed to go in the trapdoor for that other shortcut. They gave me Chivos for the shortcuts, dude. Fuck. I'm missing everything. Do-do-do. Yeah, I don't think we're getting that random first place Chivo. Not with my level of zonkness tonight at any rate. But hey, we got something. You can now race on Checker Nights. Okay, I think we were at 40 Chivos for Top Ride when I started, so we basically caught up Top Ride to where City Trial is. I could stand to do a bit better with Air Ride. I think next time I do this, probably Saturday, and then I just focus more on the Chivos. Obviously, my goal in terms of 100%ing would be to get all the characters, all the carts, all the tracks unlocked, which I think I am for all of that. Buy everything from the shop using the monies, and then most importantly, unlocking all the Chivos. I can't cheat any of them with the golden hammer. They took it out. That golden hammer they could use to cheese all the challenges in Smash Brothers. They took it out of this one. There's no golden hammer cheesing. You either beat the challenge exactly as Sakurai wants you to do it, or you just never win. There's no two if ands or buts around about it. There's no way around it. But thank you again, Anne, for the video. Again, I'm probably just gonna call it here. I had a long day and just want to kick back. But thank you everybody for showing up for a short stream here, a short stream special. We're gonna roost and find someone to raid. Yeah, take it easy, Kamui. Thanks for the stream. Thank you. You're welcome. And having fun with this. Not just the stream thing, but like the game too. The game in question. Definitely a great little package. One of the best games I played this year. Can't wait for the 24-hour stream. Yeah, I've been thinking about how I want to do it. I think for the benefit of my health, I probably won't stream Tuesday, next Tuesday. Use that to rest up, and then Wednesday start the stream in the afternoon, and then that'll run until Thursday afternoon. All right, that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm seeing it. Okay, Pablo. Pull up that Streamlabs, Pablo. Do what you do best, Pablo. Well, we got the multi-leaflet emotes here. I don't watch her shit, but I know about her because someone else that I watch watches her. So it's like that. It's like that cultural osmosis thing. Okay, bye-bye.
It's nice to rest your eyes.
Man, it's like I pinpoint the exact moment when I start getting really tired on the stream. You can even hear it in my voice. So I'm gonna be responsible, chat. I'm gonna be responsible for my health. For my health, chat. I'm gonna go to bed, rest up, rest my voice, relax, because I am fucking whacked these past few days. Clocking in, man. Ugh. And they say I'm the cougar guy. I don't ever want to talk to another granny so long as I live. Appreciate everybody stopping by for the short stream. At least we talked about Phil and the current standings with King Asmon. Thank you, Just Jonte, the behind the scenes follow. Toper27, re-up tier 1 for 3 months. Juzzy51, tier 1 for 46 months. Thank you for the re-up. And 1337, raid with a party of 24. Praise that son, raid with a party of 1. And everybody else. Take it easy, Dingus. Have a good night. Thank you so much, Praise that son. Thank you again for the raid. Let's see. Who do we got? Who live? Well, of course, everyone is going to inevitably, no matter what, head over to the Shroom Dukem Overnight Chill Stream. But is there anybody else we can help who's live right now? We got Goon. I recently raided Goon. Could do Zuki Wookie. Oh, he just recently swapped to Zelda. Dingus, let me duel your boss. Hang on, let me get you his Microsoft Teams info. Bye-bye, audio. Send me time. We'll see you when we see you. And if we didn't see you, then we didn't see you. But if we did see you, then we saw you. And if we didn't see you, hopefully we will see you next time. If I can see myself in the mirror each and every single day, hopefully I can inspire viewers like you, Rue, to see themselves in their mirrors each and every single day. All right, but I'm gonna do right. I'm gonna do right by what I said. I'm gonna get some Mimi time for real, for real. But the Zookster is based and the Tractor Pilled. He knows about Phil. You can talk to him about Phil, and he'll know what you're talking about. You can ask for his opinions on the Asmongold thing. He's playing Zelda, the new one. The new one that's actually Dynasty Warriors. You get it? I didn't play that game because I didn't play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom yet. I wouldn't know the story, you guys. I have to play Ocarina of Time first, you guys. I have to play Wind Waker first, you guys. But please follow Zuki when you get over there. He's always good to me whenever he shows up here. So you're obligated to reciprocate. And we'll see you on the next one. Longer stream in the evening tomorrow, hopefully.